click, buy, deliver. With remote purchasing from the 2-time Motorcycle News Dealer of the Year, Colchester Kawasaki. Proud sponsors of Chasin the Racin.
3, 2, 1, and welcome back to Chasin the Racin, episode 104, and we're over in near Kendal.
105, isn't it?
It's actually where we were out riding trials bikes a few weeks ago, and we're delighted to be joined by Brad Perie. How are you doing, son?
Well, we were close. It was nearly there. It's Perie, but never mind. We'll move. Everyone gets that wrong. It does my tits in.
Is it Perie?
Yeah, it's like weary, but with a P.
Right. Wait, is that French?
Or tire. Yeah, apparently. Well, it sounds a bit French, doesn't it?
Uh-huh.
But
Do you like orgies?
Perie.
what?
Do you like orgies?
I can't say I've ever had the chance, to be fair. Have you?
Fantastic. No, a few. One from Hexham's son. We're all just one big happy family. You know what I mean? Put the keys in the ball
I
situation.
thought there was a bit of inbred in the blood there.
Yeah, I know you're saying years of polished genetics here. Where the hell are we, lads?
We must be near
Oh
a
my
trip.
fucking god! I forgot there was a. Okay, maybe
Did
we
you just go into a state of panic there by any chance?
I actually realised that maybe we're going for a drive later, and then like.
Are you familiar? Are you familiar that Dom nicknamed you Peri Peri Chicken, by the way, which is kind of stuck.
The worst part is, right, I got that right, and I thought, oh, legend. But that one, I got called that back at school, like, how original.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh God, I do apologise.
I
It's
know.
actually Peri Chicken.
The worst part is, I'm not even that big of a fan of Peri Peri.
Really?
Yeah.
Hold on, you were saying that just before we came on the show. You're a big fan of the Chinese over... No, hold on. Chinese food. Hold on, we've got to get that tidied up. So Chinese over Indian food.
Yeah,
is that
yeah,
correct? So
100%, yeah.
that's your favourite takeaway?
No, honestly, like, we're going to struggle to get on if you pick an Indian over Chinese. It's just simple.
It's
I'm
that
sorry.
But most people are like pretty stuck in the ways of the Chinese. What
Do you know what the thing is, right? And the whole thing, like, about like Indian food, like a curry, for example, like it was made as a cheap meal, like it's cheap chicken, bits of rice for them, like skin asses to just cook up. And like people like British people, like I've got loads of like middle class, order a curry. Like it's not that good. It's not that good.
Go on. What do you get from the Chinese?
Sweet and sour chicken egg fried rice.
It's a classic go-to.
Yeah.
Mind you can eat hot food, can't you? You're a fan of, like, seriously, like, I mean, you can eat cold hot food.
I like them both, to be fair. I like a good Chinese and a good Indian, so
Do you watch... We're going straight into the questions. Do you, like, watch your diet or stuff? Or you just like him? He just eats like... Mate, right? I say the word chocolate, I put half a stone on. You know what I mean? I've got the metabolism of a hibernating bear. You cheeky little... I like you. I like you. No, I've got the metabolism of a hibernating bear. Anything I eat, I store immediately as fat. Do you watch what you eat, or do you just eat anything?
I mean, I'm not gonna go as far as think. Like people have like diets and stuff, and they write it all down and what they're eating and all that sort of thing, and they get them apps that count calories and whatnot. I don't do that, but I mean, I wouldn't necessarily have like, I don't know, fucking Nutella for tea. You know what I mean?
I think your mate's back on his GS.
Oh, he's gonna do my
Go on,
tits.
give him a shout out.
Who's that nugget?
Spyman Walber.
Barry Stevenson there, whatever we're going to call him. That's
Simon
what a fella.
Simon Walker.
Simon Walker, yeah. Simon
He's
Walker.
actually just before we started the podcast. Is it one of your sponsors?
He's a friend of a sponsor, yeah.
And he's Dom said, "Oh, how far so and so?" And he said, depends what you."
Like he goes, "What you going on?" I said, "I'm going in the van." He goes, "Wait, on the bike I can do it in 20 minutes." I'm like, "Right, well, how far's it to Hawkshead?" He goes, "Wait, you going by ferry, going by the main road?" I'm going, "Son, I just want to know how long it takes to get to Hawkshead."
Honestly, right.
What
That's
a
the thing
nice
about
fella.
people in this town. Like, I mean, they're all like, well, maybe not all, but like a lot of them, they're all lovely. But like, you'll never get a straightforward answer where it's like A equals B. It's A goes to D, which goes to E, which then reverts back to B.
Cumbrians, you gotta love Cumbrians.
I'll absolutely love it over here. It's just across the country from where we are in Newcastle, but it's in terms of like holidays and getting out in nature, and whether you're into walking, mountain biking, scenery, any water sports, it is such a well kept secret in the UK, and you probably don't realise how lucky you are to live over here.
If you don't see when it's pissing down every day, or like,
Hold on, we're from the northeast, son.
Yeah, all right, fair enough. But like you young lot, like I'm the youngest, but like you'll go for your nights out or whatever every now and then, or whatever, like Christmas parties, or whatever. We've got like 2 bars which put a couple of songs on every night or something like that. Like we are struggling. So like, and Kendal's one of them towns where if you don't leave by your 30, you're here forever. Like you won't ever leave, and it's just a fact. So like, honestly, I sort of envy you guys when, like, you know, like people from my town go to like university in Newcastle because like they're breaching out and they're giving themselves a chance.
They've escaped.
Yeah, they've escaped.
But I tell you what, we've jumped straight into just having crack. But there will be some people that are listening that maybe don't follow BSB that closely. So I'll just give you a quick introduction of like who you are and what you do. So
even the people that follow me at even the people that follow BSB don't know who I am. I don't know what it is, but like no matter what results I get, I just fade into the background. Like even from the open park test day.
Until now.
I was even the open park test day. I was like looking through all the like photos like BSB or Bennett's photos. I'm like, nope. Like Snetterton won fastest. Nope, not me. Nope, not me. And not being like jealous or out like that. But like, come on, we've done 3 tests. There's got to be one out there, hasn't there?
I tell you what, this is not going to help you at all being on Chasin the Race, and I guarantee you that we're just going to flush your career
to be fair,
off.
And what's Stuart going to do? What's he going to do?
Anyway, just a quick introduction. So Brad's racing in and has done for a good few years now in British Supersport and is a top up and coming racer. Very, very successful year last year. Kind of running. We'll talk about it in detail, but like running yourself as a privateer and sort of taking it to some of the much more bigger established teams. And this year you've joined one of the biggest established team in the British Supersport and sort of a solid championship contender for the championship. But we'll have a good bit crack. But I was quite enjoying that general crack, and I thought it would be a good chance just to have a quick catch up because we've all been out and about over the last week or so, and both me and Brad have both had big crashes today. So if you think we look a little bit you know, edgy
at the same corner, about 5 minutes apart as well.
So in fact, we'll start there.
I blame him for causing a red flag, which sort of upset my rhythm. So I had to sit in the pit box, take my helmet off, put it back on again in a rush, went out and just made a tit of it. Really.
Hold on. Did you know it was Chrissy in the kitty litter?
Well, yeah, I saw him, and I just saw him leaning against the barrier as if he couldn't breathe, and I thought, poor fucker. But
and then it was you 5 minutes.
And then it was me about 5 minutes later.
Oh my God! Did you just put in the pits gun? Nah, it's that Geordie wanker.
Was yours an out lap or first flying lap or?
I think it was first flying lap. Is it first flying lap? Second. I can't remember if I did laps or not. But
yeah, I've mine. Well, for those that don't know, Oulton Park. It was the BSB test day, and it was the final session today. Cascades, which is, would you class the top of the hill as a turn? Because I sort of class turn 1 and turn 2's Cascades really in it. So it's the first left hander.
It's like Austria, isn't it? You know, like you got left.
Yeah, it's like a kink over the crest, and then a big fast left hander. And for me, I was coming out like third gear. And just as I was picking the bike up, just about to get to the curb, there was a false change on the ignition, and it like sort of basically cut the ignition, and then the power came back in and just like and just threw us over the handlebars.
Do that noise again.
It was
replicate that noise exactly again.
But anyway, it was probably the one, if not the fastest crash I've ever had. It was definitely up there, and it's by far the most I've tumbled. I curled up into a little ball, and I felt like it was never going to end.
Funny.
Smashed me head off the floor, and then it was just sky, like tarmac. Every time I was just whacking my head, and as I was going, I remember thinking, no, like nothing's hurting so far, nothing's hurting, like thinking like, yeah, everything's okay, yeah, I'm still okay, and then I started thinking I was just about to get knocked out because I was do you know when you're properly rattled, like your brain gets rattled, and then eventually I did stop. And like when you seen us, I like crawled to the thing and pulled myself up because I was a bit winded. But huge crash. And do you know what? Jack Kennedy was right behind us, and he came to see us after, and he said how unbelievably lucky I was, because when I went down, the bike dug in, flew up into the air, and as I was sliding along, it was bouncing right next to where I was. So like as it came down, it like missed us by, you know, like virtually nothing. And you just think if those bikes are heavy, if they come down on your legs or your pelvis or your chest or whatever, you know it's a serious injury. So I'm counting me lucky blessings today.
I thought you were going to put like an RST or RI plug in there and say, but because I was well protected by RST and RI and
he's a professional.
He is, isn't he? Speaking of, you've got it next to you, so if you click onto the YouTube side of it, you'll just see how Chrissy bashes his helmets in on the weekends. So,
if you'd like to buy Chrissy another helmet,
he is good, isn't he? He is good.
You can come on again.
Well, I'm not good. I'm advertising for him. I need one myself.
There you go. I'll tell you what. Now, speaking of which, now every bike fan who'll be listening to this is asking one question: how is the Stouff bike?
It's a bit. I tell you what, I look like stuff thrown all over.
All yeah.
The cap, the t-shirt.
Is this the corporate apology, Chrissy?
Yeah, it is.
Is this the corporate apology?
You look like you work at Subway.
It is a similar sort
You've got
of
the
look.
cap and everything.
It is a similar sort of look, but just keeping the sponsors happy, Brad. You know how it is.
He's spent enough money at Subway, I'm telling you. There you go. But,
yeah, the bike wasn't as bad as I expected. When I got up, I didn't actually see the bike because it cleared the barrier on the left. Which, if anyone knows like where the barrier is, it's a big.
Yeah, I don't even know how you did that. To be fair,
neither do I.
That must be a 15-foot chain link fence or even higher.
No, it's not.
It's just
like
a wall.
It's a waste one, but it's miles off. You would expect, like where you crashed, you went to the right.
Yeah,
I went to the left somehow. But anyway, the bike isn't too bad. It was the rear wheel was like properly smashed, and everything looked a bit second-hand and bent. But hopefully it'll all straighten.
You can tell by his smile that it doesn't pay for crash damage, can't you?
No comment.
No comment. So, right, unfortunately, he's talked through his crash. Let's talk about yours straight
Honestly,
into it.
apart from blaming the bike, I'm going to accept my blame. It was my fault. No, honestly, it sounded like a pretty similar crash. So I came down Cascades, put a new tyre in, and like, it's two parts of Cascades. You got the first apex, which you miss, and then you got the second apex. And I missed the first apex as standard, and then so I went for that second apex, and I got up like mid corner fine, got to the second apex fine, and as soon as I started standing the bike back up, it just went ram, and then next thing, and I thought I caught it, to be honest with you, and then I didn't. But honestly, the bike was all right. I mean, when I got back, Robin thought that I had a moment, went on the grass, and then crashed on the grass, like obviously handlebar, foot peg, lever. A little bit
generic crash, yeah.
But other than that, it didn't roll or anything. It was all right. So
really, at that pit?
Yeah, no. Considering it was a big, it's proper high side now. I was quite lucky, really.
Mm-hmm. Injuries wise, okay?
Yeah. Went to Mega Centre and it was all right. Yeah, so I can't complain too much.
And your RST and your RI protected all the way. We're an audible show, you're gonna have to start saying something.
I'll just while we're talking about the Alton Park test, I'll just quickly run through the Superbike times. So it was actually Jason O'Halloran that topped. To be fair, the Superbike times are a bit skewed because they're all testing for the Racin all day, and then right at the end, Superbikes have the choice of a qualifying tyre, which is like
a zero thing, is it?
It's called SX, I think it's called. And
that sounds sexy, to be fair, isn't it? Chuck the X in.
Basically, once you chuck that in, you drop. It's a good chunk of time, like at least a good few tenths. So this is how it ended anyway. Jason O'Halloran topped it with Tommy Bridewell second and Ryan Vickers third.
Hey, Ryan Vickers, well done.
Very good for Vickers, yeah.
That sounded quite like a bit. No, very good though. He's on the new bike as well.
Vic, I was actually speaking to Lee Hardy and he was saying at the other test, Vickers hasn't been putting in the qualifying tyres at the end of the day, so he's been finishing the test sort of 10th, 11th, but that's not really a good fair reflection of where he's at.
They're actually thinking about more race distance
so
rather
they've
than
obviously
qualifying.
Chucked a couple in today and was right up the sharp end.
Mint.
Peter Hickman was the top BMW in fourth, not far off at all, like less than about 2 tenths. In fourth, ahead of Josh Brooks, who's on the number 1 plate, and then Gino Rea in sixth. Glenn Irwin, who topped this session at Silverstone, was seventh. Ahead of Kyle Ride, who had a big crash in the last session.
Is he all right?
I'm not too sure. Any news on Kyle?
I haven't got any friends in the paddock. So, I don't know.
So you haven't heard from Kyle?
No, the thing is, right, I see people in the paddock like Kyle or whatever, and I'll because I'm not really friends, not that I don't want to be, but because I'm not, I'll do this face, which is like, I'm sort of welcoming you a little bit. I'll do this. And you just stare, and I'm just like, okay, I know where I stand.
That's good. Wait, as long as you started smiling,
yeah, but
he must be all right.
You know what I mean? You know that face that you pull to someone who you don't really know, but you wouldn't mind knowing. I expect I'm gonna get a Superbike ride just by doing that to like a team manager in the paddock.
Oh my God! I hope you get a Superbike ride next year. God, how do you get it? Watch the face.
I'm not. I think Kyle went down at Island Bend, but do you know what? Kyle's been so impressive so far in Superbike testing. He looks so at home on that on the OMG bike, and he's doing really well.
You're gonna do your second plug?
Yeah, do you want a can?
Honestly, yeah, because I've never had one before because I can't get hold of them.
But you can't hear it chasing the race, and no problem at all.
We've actually got sugar-free Rich Energy coming very soon, as promised. Do you want one,
hold on, Chris, you didn't. Didn't he lead the first session?
I bet this is going to sound ace on the microphone.
It does actually.
Oh we'll edit that out.
So Bradley Ray was.
I hope you keep that in.
Bradley Ray, teammates with Calrad, finished 9th ahead of Danny Buchan and Andy Irwin, teammates on the Cinetic Taz bike. Christian Inn was 12th ahead of Danny Kent, Javi Forez 14th, and Dan Linfoot rounded out the top 15 ahead of my teammate Storm Stacey, who knocked a good few tenths off with in his qualifying tyre. He came in like absolutely buzzing. He came in, he was like, those tyres are like drugs, they're unreal, you've got to try them. It was like so buzzing.
I'd be buzzing if I was like, what was he, 17?
He's 16th. He was
16.
No. He's 17 now.
Age.
Oh, age. He's 18, I think.
18. He's got like a Mercedes A class. Is it? Not an A class.
He's got a decent car.
Yeah,
I'm not,
it's cool.
I've got a Mini Cooper. Like, I know. Like, how does that work?
He's got a truck thing as well, and he like a Land Rover off-roading.
Yeah, I'm not jealous of that. To be fair, I don't really get that. Sorry if he's watching, but like, I'm sorry. But what's that
the
about?
Lake District? You should be all about that 4-wheel drive scene.
Why does everyone literally wear tweed?
I like it.
Tweed.
No.
I think you like tweed.
So
You're a school teacher.
You're a school teacher.
I'm desperate for a nice tweed jacket. I love it. And
you're going to be a horrible maths teacher soon, aren't you?
I love the look of the Lake District, like gilets and rolled up shirts, and it's a bit of
you
it's
would
a bit
not
of me
last
over
5
here.
minutes in Burnett Field.
It's a bit of me.
He's lucky to get through it himself. So there you go. I tell you what.
Sorry, go on.
Sorry, are you about to go through that list?
Yeah, I was just going to finish it
There's
off.
a very interesting name.
So we've got Joe Francis 17th.
This is your plug coming up, isn't it?
No, it's
Tara
ours.
McKenzie 18th,
which
Taz always struggles around Oulton Park with it being a physical track, but he will be disappointed to be 18th, especially with his teammate Top as well. Rory Skinner 19th, ahead of Josh Owens. By the way, Lee Jackson missed the test because he had food poisoning from the night before. Yeah, Josh Owens was 20th ahead of Dean Harrison, Brad Jones, Bjorn Esterman, Michael Dunlop on the DC. He was on the BMW. Chris's Gen 4. Do you want to obviously you're sponsored by DC. Well, you sponsored and you race for DC. So to get Michael Dunlop on one of the bikes was a massive.
It's good publicity, isn't it?
Brilliant for the team. Yeah.
Now I've never met Michael, even though I've like averted comments here. I've raced against him. I've been on track at the same time as him, but never met the man. Did you have an opportunity to meet him today? What was he like?
So I met him last night. Dean invited me into his motorhome, and it was all right. They were eating local takeout, so Racer's diet, obviously. And nice guy. I mean, we chatted. I tell you what, I'll find. Because the first thing I said, because Michael said, "Oh, I've never met you before," and I said, "Hold on, son. Yes, you have." Back in NEC 2000, like 2008, maybe.
You have to send us that because Grace will edit that into the video.
I'll
That is, you have to send that to us. That is a mint photo.
I don't know. I think.
How did he take that?
You know how I said, like, obviously I drive a Mini. I live in Kendal, which is a very small town. That is not going to help me with women at all. Like,
No, it doesn't.
That is not going to help me at all. So I think like maybe we'll just leave it out for now. But
no, we're putting that in. That's 100% happening. There we go. So now the good thing about the DC.
Yeah, nice guy anyway. Yeah.
Oh, so. Let's talk about the connection before we go into how you got in the race and with your dad and the whole family aspect and that whole story. Let's talk about how did you meet the DC lads? And it's great to see that the Appleyard team, and you've got it really dominant on the levers. You've got it on the lid. They're a big part of your future. You know what I mean? They're a big part of your future now, and it's fantastic. So how did that connection happen? How did it come together?
Last year. You know, like people go to Spain and stuff like that and do testing. Well, we just normally do some like UK track days, and they're normally all right, to be fair. And I went to the first one on. To be fair, it was an old motor. It was one from that sort of bodged together to get me out of ship. I think Assen prior. Anyway, long story short, we had a good engine. We were just going to put this bodged one together for a track day, and I blew it. Well, it blew. I don't think I did. Well, I did do it, but it was going to go.
Yeah,
anyway,
the engine was
that's just me just getting my excuse out there. Anyway, long story short, it went. And I think we must have done 10 laps. It was Alton Park. And my dad said, well, that was a good day. And we started wheeling it away. And DC were in the opposite garage. And they were like, oh. You know, because I actually knew Chris back when he did Thundersport. Not like that well, but my dad sort of, knew him by face and said, oh, would you want to go in our BMW? We've got one spare. And I actually initially went no straight away because I just knew that my dad would be like, we can't pay for it if we trash it.
Yeah.
And then, but that said, anyway, so once we said, that was kind of blown away because no one ever helps me. And he was like, you realise that I haven't got a paint to my name. Like, if we crashes it, we can't fix it. He was like, no, yeah, don't worry about it. We just want to, you've come all this way. You might as well do some chat time. And I went out on it and I had a great time. And I didn't crash it or anything, but I had a great time. And then it sort of went all a bit quiet. Lockdown happened. And then prior to the BSB season starting, they said they've entered themselves into Thundersport round 1 Donington. You went kind of well on that BMW. Do you want to do it again? But as a race. At this point, I thought, well, I'm not doing BSB for a little while. Might as well. And that's how that happened. And yeah, and that's pretty much it, really.
I tell you what, you've totally downplayed that. Like, you really have. No, the thing is, Chris, he wears his heart on his sleeve. You know,
100%.
and he really does. And he gives everyone an opportunity. He took a shine to you, but more importantly, he's impressed with you. And, like, to do that, and then... Now, to be fair, if I remember... That was the Duke of Edinburgh race, wasn't it?
It was.
The Duke of Edinburgh race.
Well, it was called the Duke of Donington.
What a load of crap. But anyway, but it was absolutely fantastic because, to be fair, like, obviously Thundersport is a competitive series anyway. But when you had 2 BSB lads, like, absolutely hammer and tongue,
and Crowe and
Crowe, oh, that's
True
it.
Love, and
But you two were starting to hammer around. You were just getting ready. You weren't taking any big risks, the pair of you. But I think you both enjoyed it. But my God, you were hammering tongue, and you both had a sweat on your brow.
yeah,
Like, you were pushing on, and you.
Dean and Chris were like, honestly, like I say, the 2 nicest lads you probably meet, and the 2 people that helped me said, they would ride a bike without any kind of I don't know what you call it, like a dark side to the sort of, the idea, as in they're not going to try and stab me in the back for something, or, they genuinely do want to help me just because. And like, I really do appreciate it. So yeah, so we went to Donington, we had and you just sort of go for a race, and I quite enjoyed it, and then like Chrissy and like, all them sort of turned up, and yeah, it was alright, it was good crack, wasn't it?
It was outstanding crack.
Yeah.
I was on the sidelines watching Scream and didn't know who to scream for. It was absolutely mint crack. That was it was like it just went and it escalated rapidly, absolutely rapidly.
Well, didn't you ride the twin as well that weekend?
I rode a stock twin. I turned like, you never go to a race meeting without your levers in your bag. So like Dean didn't want to. We had a few beers and he was just having a bit of crack, and he said, "Do you want to have a go on that?" But like you say, them 2 are proper genuine lads. But here, let's talk. How you got into? Hold on.
I'll quickly finish off the times from
It's
today.
going to be a long podcast. Isn't
It
it?
is, but don't worry, we've
pretty
got
much got to the end. So we looked at, Michael Dunlop was 24th, ahead of your mate Brian McCormack, Ryo Mizuno, who's one of the Japanese riders for Honda this year, Joey Thompson, and Takumi Takahashi. That's the one.
No, fair play. I would not have had a crack at that. So fair play. So.
Takahashi actually crashed on his outlap at
that
Druids.
Is that the same Takahashi that did MotoGP?
Yes. And he went down first lap, and the other Japanese rider, which is the first time that he's been to Oulton, which is going to be a rude awakening for anybody, isn't it? So he finished with a...
He went into the Gus Knock Hill.
Yeah, no, he finished with a 1:42.6. He's 8 seconds off the pace, which obviously he's got to try and get closer by... he's got one... Next time we'll go there, it's BSB, so it's a hell of a
steep hill.
But can I just say how impressive that is when you think of people like Kianari when they came over and they were battling for race wins. It like illustrates how impressive it is to come over here, because these tracks must... Like, if we went over to Japan and there was tiny little like Nijiru tracks that people had been racing on for years, we wouldn't stand a chance.
I think we'd boss it,
I don't.
I think we'd boss it.
Let's book some plane tickets, gentlemen.
Yeah,
if anyone in Japan wants to, even that, hey, hell, don't forget me. I'll have a crack at it.
Just before we get, because we will get on to like how you got started racing and stuff, can we just have a quick roundup from last week? Because obviously I came down to a week before. I came down to Mallory when you were doing the CRMC, and do you know Dom does a bit of classic racing?
No, I don't really watch anything before 1980.
The CRMC it's like a massive.
Back in my day, son.
It's a massive
It's
classic.
younger than your bike.
I
That
know.
classic bike. No, I'm being serious. You know what I mean? Like, wait, your bike, are they brand new builds for you? The Appleyard
No,
bikes?
they were last year's.
They are. So my bikes are being built for this year, but they're replicas of classic bikes. So, but
Kind of like a fake then.
100% a fake.
Oh, right, okay.
100%. No, they are replica rebuilds, so it's not like the bike was made in the 60s or anything like that. So you go G50, 7 this is going right over your head, isn't
I've
it?
watched that though. That's the thing. If you got a bike from the 60s, I would pay money to watch you go around with it.
What, an actual bike
An
from the
actual
60s?
bike from the 60s, yeah.
Right. Well, I'd give it a go. If you put up the money, son, I'll go for it.
For people that aren't aware, this RMC is like in the UK is like pretty much the biggest classic racing community in the Europe, really, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's huge. It's really well attended. I went to Mallory. I've never seen Mallory that well attended. You could not get parked in the paddock. They were like all the way to Edwina.
Does sidecars do that?
Yeah, classic sidecars as well.
And it's, for me, it's when you're not in that community, it's a bit odd because it's like it's obviously you can see how passionate everyone is there, but it's a bit like of a niche that like until you open your eyes and watch it, it's almost hidden away. Like you don't really know about it, you don't see about it, but when you go, it's like proper competitive racing.
I imagine it's kind of like a car boot in the sense of like, you know, what's the TV show called? Red versus Blue, when you've got to go around to loads of different like cars and buy those, like find those good. Yeah.
Well, there's a few. I mean, when you go around the paddock, there's a few, you know, big motorhomes with, you know, like sort of what you would see, maybe not at BS, but do you know what I'm saying? Like big outfit, but it's very much like. Really passionate people, all oily hands, getting stuck in on the like pride and joy, and having a good time. And it's, I mean, you've grown up in that paddock, so for you, it's like home type of thing.
It is totally home for me. But then the mad thing is to get like lads who used to do BSB and like Thundersport. Like I was speaking to Joe Barton and stuff, and he was doing British, and then he did CB 500s and Thundersport, you know, because he couldn't afford it. He's a bike mechanic, really nice lad. First time I've had a proper bit of crack with him. But it was a case of Minovation said, you know, we've got this bike you want to race, but bearing in mind his bike's worth 50 grand. Brad, and the engine alone's 25 grand. You know, you're saying like, you know, Chris came along and helped you out with an engine, but that engine be like 11 grand. This thing is a G50 short stroke, 25 grand, and it's around about 60 brake horsepower.
Can I just
25 grand?
Can I just jump in there? That's the kind of thing that like. Say you could go, you can go on eBay and you could get like a really good, say 120 brake horsepower R6 or like whatever brand. You get it for like a few grand and like have a lot of fun and be lapping fat. And I get the sort of nostalgia thing. And I mean, I bumped into a few people down there that were saying they basically do it because they've got like cheap, like old bikes, and it's cheap, and they think of it as cheap racing. But you've got that split between half the paddock's there because it's cheap racing, and then it's like affordable racing that they do. But then there's the other half that, like you say, that are riding like 50 grand bikes, and it's just, to me, it's mind blowing.
It is mind blowing, but it's the same with like. But you see, British is that kind of different level. It's like, how much do you think your bike's worth? Your Apple.
Yeah,
No, I tell you what, this is a good story because your old bike that you were contending for championship on, that was worth considerably less than the bike you're on now.
Yeah.
So how much do you think your new one's worth?
I don't know about worth as in how much you could sell it for, but I bet to build it, you'd be looking at about 45 grand.
45 grand.
I think that'd be, once you get the Motec and everything like that, and you know, your spares and shit, yeah.
Yeah. So how much do you think your Stouth bike to build would be? Competitive, like stock 1000,
it'd be. I'd imagine it'll be, if you bought all the parts retail, I would say you must be looking, you're getting them for 40. I would say
that's it. But to be running at the front, you know, you need that, like that 40 grand bike. But I tell you what, this slips perfectly into like your story of it. Like when we were talking about last year, you and your family. You know what you were on? How old was your R6 last year?
So it's a 2008 frame, and
2008 frame.
That was genuinely it was really that old. And the worst part about it is, right, so it was my uncle's bike who used to do TT, and that was his R6.
Your uncle did the TT?
Yeah, and he gave it to me, essentially. He said you'd get more use out of it than what he would. And it never got checked straight once, like, you know, and all them years, you know, like you get like them two ropes or whatever, and there's like different ways to check if it's straight, and like, no, we never checked it. But to be fair, it felt alright to me. I think the engine was 2016, I think, or 15. So that, you know, it was all right. It wasn't that wasn't particularly old, but suspension and everything, you know, it wasn't the new tech stuff. You know what I mean?
What suspension were you running?
Öhlins front, Öhlins rear, and K-Tech front, just because it's what came with the bike.
Really?
Yeah, there was no.
That combination's so popular with R6s, and I don't really get why.
No.
I know loads of people that run K-Tech front, Öhlins rear.
Yeah.
And now in that class, so did you say you had Motec on the bike?
No,
there's no
it's
Motec. That was
kit.
That is just kit ignition. So let's briefly, for the people that don't know, where did you finish in the championship last year?
4th. However, And I'm just going to say...
No, before you get going, fourth is hellish impressive regardless. So now continue. Yeah, fourth.
No, I'm really happy with it. Don't get me wrong. I'm quite proud of it. And I think what I'm more proud of is when I looked back at all the lap times from all the years. And I know tyres move on and stuff like that. But that model bike's been ridden by loads and loads of riders, over the years. Car Ride, Seeley, it goes on and on. And Bradley Perie. And you look back at some lap times, and I think 3/4 of the tracks we went to, are probably the quickest person that's ridden a 13S. Now that doesn't mean anything, but to me, out of all the people that have ever ridden a 13S R6, and I can say, and I don't think anyone's going to do it now.
That's mint.
And it's just something it's like a fake trophy that doesn't exist, but I like it, and it's just like a little sort of thing that I quite like. But
that's mint. That mint.
Yeah.
That is outstanding.
No, but I mean. We did, we did a good job though. To be fair, it wasn't like we literally turned up and just said, "Fuck it, go and ride your bike and don't come back." We did put a lot of effort into it, but it wasn't. Yeah, there was no lie about what it was. It genuinely was a really old bike, and like I say, we gave it to that Dean and Chris, and
sorry, you gave it to Dean and Chris.
Yeah, so basically they said they would sponsor me for this year.
Yeah,
and
Dean and Chris
to help me get into the Applegarde thing.
Yeah, brilliant.
And I reckon we probably put about £20,000 into the bike, but you couldn't sell it for that.
No,
I think I'd be lucky if I got 8. You know what I mean? And I think with how much that them two have helped me, it's not just necessarily this year, but actually giving me the opportunity to ride the bike last year. You know what I mean? When no one's ever done that to me before.
Yeah.
We were like, you know what? It's worth more to you than what we could sell it for. And they'll probably help me when I get in the shit, down the line. And they got it. And like I said, they really appreciated it, don't get me wrong. But
of course they would, yeah.
When I saw them today, they were like, we had a look around that bike and it's not the trickiest of things. Like when you look at titanium bolts and all that sort of shit, it really is actually a bit of a... I mean, it went well and it got podiums. I'm not going to pretend it's like a garden gate.
What's been your best finish on that bike?
Second. Yeah, we got 2 seconds, yeah.
At which round?
Snetton and Brands.
And Snetton and Brands. So throughout that season, last season, let's talk about last season. So so your second was your best. Mm-hmm. So where were you around then? Normally? Were you fluctuating or were you quite consistent?
No, I mean, my qualifyings were always pretty good, actually. My qualifyings were most of them with the front rows, but...
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Stop playing yourself down. But this is mint.
The sprint races were sometimes a bit iffy, just because we were always chasing setups. And like I say, when you don't have a big team with loads of data, you sort of, you work. The sprint race is almost sometimes like a practice, even though you don't want it to be, but sometimes it just is. And yes, sometimes the sprint races never went to plan. But there was 6 rounds last year, and we got 6 podiums. So most time we were always around about the podium area. So I was quite happy, really.
That's outstanding.
Yeah.
Absolutely outstanding. So, when you're talking about the family side of it, let's go right back to the beginning, because how did you even before last season? How did you get into racing? What was where your uncle did the TT and stuff like that?
Yeah, so my family's sort of always been into bikes. I know I'm gonna sort of start forgetting people, but my granddad was an Irish road racer.
Who's that then?
He was called Maurice Wilson. He unfortunately died at Tandragee 2004.
Not that long ago then, right?
2004?
Yeah, still.
All right. I mean, it's not yesterday. But
no, I don't know what yesterday.
But yeah, so he died at Tandragee, but yeah, he was into road racing, and my uncle, he's only recently just stopped doing road racing.
Who's your uncle then?
Scott Wilson.
Scott Wilson.
Yeah.
Sorry, we have lots of listeners that'll be going.
Okay.
They'll be checking over
this.
And
yeah. I mean, there's no Michael Dunlops in my family, but we've got some road racing, and I think his brother used to do quite a bit of grass tracking and stuff like that. So there's always been bikes in the family. And everyone says, "Oh, your dad must race," but no, my dad never really got into bikes. He was actually he used to be into scooters and stuff like that. I don't particularly get it myself. It's
we're talking Lambrettas kind of thing.
Yeah, that sort of thing. It's like
right.
mods, but you take the mirrors off and you take the Parker off, and I don't know, you chop them up and stuff. And I don't know, I never really got it myself. But yeah, he was into that, and anyway, it's a long story short. But he used to watch World Superbikes and BSB and that. So when I was little, I used to watch it. And then I got a mini moto at 4, and then I started going around all the car park at weekends because you couldn't go on track at that age.
So no motocross route then, just straight on.
No,
straight
still
the tarmac.
never ridden a motocross bike. And
Really?
Yeah, and I think it would help to us in some, especially going over the mountains, stuff like that, just get a feel for it. But yeah, no, I've never done it. And then I went a similar route to Chrissy, really. So I went from mini motors through to mini GPs, like Fab Racing, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then did super teens. I went as 12, and then
how did you fare in the super? He's a full-on super teens man. He knows every fact about super teens. So where did you fare in that championship then? Your first taste of that?
I mean, yeah, there was 2 championships. You had the newcomers championship, which is your first year.
Right.
I won that one. I was quite happy with, and then I got second the second year, and at which point I thought it was time to move on when I turned 14. So, but I couldn't. At the time, I got a few, I'm going to say offers, but basically people asking if you'd pay to ride a 125 at BSB. But it wasn't necessarily, I mean, the money was obviously a big problem, but it wasn't.
If you don't mind me asking, how much were they asking for like a 125 at that point? How much were they asking for the teams?
I'm going to say around 30 grand.
Right.
But your problem is your crash damage, and you'd have like a 10 grand
Budget.
Contingency.
Yeah, it's like a bowl or a cup that had 10 grand in, and then once and every time you crash, that gets taken out until you get left with nothing. And I remember the forks alone in the 125s was so much stupid. And long story short is, I mean, if we could have said just fuck it, we'll do it, and just hope that you don't crash a bike, but that felt like too much of a risk.
Aye.
So because I don't want to lose the house or anything like that, or get fucking bailiffs around my house over a bike race. So we went.
What age were you at this point?
14.
14. So you were fully like, you know what I mean? At that age, you were so aware that you're thinking it's not worth doing that. I really wanted to do it, obviously. Of course.
But at the same time, you can only do what you can afford, and it wasn't a lie. It wasn't. I'd love to have done it, but my dad's theory was, even if you do back then it was 125s, but Moto 3 125s, unless you've got the money to go to Spain, which we obviously didn't. We hadn't even had the money to be British. You're gonna end up on a stock 6, or So why not go on a twin? And my dad thought mini twins were really boring, so he asked Thundersport if a 14-year-old was allowed on a super twin, and there was nothing, because it says 14-year-olds can ride 650 twins. It doesn't say mini twin or super twin. And
all right, that's interesting.
And I think Dave Stewart was like, I wouldn't advise it, like 90 horsepower bike on a. Anyway, long story short, we did it, and we got. I think we were on the front row straight away, and we got second, and we got.
At 14 on a super.
Yeah,
twin.
no, I think I'm not massive on stats and stuff. I don't blow my own bubble, but I'm pretty sure I'm probably the youngest winner on a super twin. Pretty sure.
That's cool.
It's kind of cool, but like I say, I mean, it doesn't. I go to work in the morning. No one's gonna be like, "Oh, it's the youngest winner on a super twin." Like, no one knows, do they? But it's cool to say, isn't it?
Yeah, but we're a bunch of lads who like racing. To us, that's
another one of those invisible trophies. That
Yeah,
you've got up on the mantelpiece.
And then from there, when we did stock 6 at BSB, on the R6, the same R6 we did last year.
So you that was your first 600, that bike from your uncle.
Yeah, we carried it through to from stock 6 through to Supersport. It just developed it over the years. You just add a bit more on, and this, that, and the other end. It was a wake-up call, though, I can't lie, because when you do club racing, you think you're the shit. Like, you win a few races, and you're like, I'm the man. And then you go to BSB, whether it's stock 6 or Supersport, or whatever class you do, other than junior Supersport, 'cause that's pretty rubbish, isn't it?
Shots fired.
Shots fired.
I can feel all the junior Supersport parents watching this.
Oh god.
No, to be fair, the racing actually isn't that bad. To be fair, it's got
put your
better.
shovel down.
I think
the racing's exciting.
I think at the time the KTM Cup was about when I was around that age, and that was pretty rubbish. But the junior Supersport was alright, because at least you got a few different manufacturers anyway. Long story short, anyway. So back to where we were. So you think you're the man, right? Doing club racing, you've won a few races. And don't get me wrong, I knew it was going to be difficult, but I kind of expected sort of to get a few points and then get in the top 10s and then get podiums. You know what I mean? Like, it was just a natural progression.
Was high. Yeah.
You go to BSB and you just get slapped in the face with how much you've got to learn. Like, so when I was on a Super Twin, I'd go out and I would get a feeling with the bike, and then I'd leave that feeling all year long, and then in the wet I'd soften it off a little bit. You know what I mean? So you literally never touch it. And then you go to stock 6, and you realise you have to learn what preload does and what compression does and what all this, that, and the other does. And but that's just learning, isn't it?
And speaking of learning, your dad, we need to talk about your dad right now. Chris and like Dean have told me stories about your dad, and your
bad.
dad. No, all good things, mate. And the fact is, like, your dad's a butcher, isn't he?
Yes.
A butcher, but he said he learned to strip and build engines on your kitchen table to get you to race meetings.
Well,
Let's
yeah.
talk about your family have sacrificed a lot to get to where you are now, and let's talk a bit more about
It's a
that.
weird thing because I don't like necessarily talking about myself because I just think, for one, I always think who's fucking listening. You know what I mean? But obviously, you know, people have
75,000 downloads. Yeah.
But like, you know, but yeah, they definitely both put absolutely everything into it, and I mean literally everything. Like, they haven't been a whole day for like over like 10 years and stuff like this and whatnot, and you know. Buying, buying smart cars and all that went all out the window and all that sort of thing. But I don't know. Like, I just think they love. They say all the time, "Fuck's sake, son! If you didn't do racing, we'd be in fucking Portugal right now." But I think they secretly love it more than what I do.
I tell you what, I've seen your dad's face, the pride in that man's face. Unreal. I met him properly at like Brands for like all of 10 minutes. You two were like next to each other. You and the Phil Crow crew. You were sharing a garage, but the pride in your dad's face is unreal.
Yeah.
Is absolutely
and
unreal.
like I say, I mean, so he's a butcher. Well, he calls it a speed bun. It's pretty much a similar thing, but basically does it a bit faster.
A speed bump.
Yeah, I know it sounds wrong, doesn't it? Actually,
A little bit high.
Yeah. But yeah, anyway, so so he's a butcher, and that's the thing. Like, but the thing is, he loves doing everything himself, so he can say he's done it himself. So, like, when it came to engines and stuff like that, like, say, I think I've listened to the DC podcast, and he said, he went to Raffles and said, Ian, who does my engines now for Appleyards, teach me how to do it, and it's true, yeah. And like I say, you know what? Like, I mean, obviously it takes, skill and patience and learning. But like, as long as you've got, you're able to do it. Like, you can do it.
No, it's the sheer guts to do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? No, it is so, because at the end of the day, the engine is the heartbeat of the motorcycle, and a seizure's no joke in any form of matter, isn't it? You could be going along, like, you get something wrong tuning,
especially on supersports, because
that highly strung. So fair play for your dad to actually have a crack at that himself. Period. Never mind budget or nothing. The actual guts to go.
Period.
I said period, man. As far as like having a go at something. But there we go. But you like, honestly, the dedication.
Yeah, 100%. And honestly, I like to say, I never forget what they did for him, because even like, I'm not going to talk about the stories on here, but like, they've gone through some shit times, like, and then, but to me, when especially when I was little, they'd never tell me, and they'd never make it, they'd always just like, are we going racing this weekend? And like, really, they never had a penny to their name, and so like, I'll never forget that sort of thing. But like I said, at the same time, it only, I don't sound cringy, but it only makes me want to do really well now, so I can sort of say, it was kind of worth it, wasn't it?
Yeah, of course, man.
But yeah, they're happy and I'm happy, so it's all good.
We were speaking just before the podcast about, you keep mentioning work and things. For those people that aren't aware, do you want to talk about what you do as a day job?
Thank you. So I mean, I'm proud. I'm not proud at all. I work at B&Q. It's all right. I mean, it's DIY.
It's a job, mate.
It's a job. It's a job, and it pays. And I mean, it's all right. I mean, I've got my orange apron and that. And if you come to the Kendall store, I'm normally there with
massive discounts to all our listeners. Huge discount, 50% off or something like that. That right,
what,
Brad?
though?
If you mention
like,
that's right, isn't it?
This is the thing. Like, I mean, so I've got my little discount card because I work there. What am I going to treat myself to being huge? What am I going to do?
Wheelbarrow.
buy myself a wheelbarrow or fucking some PTFE tape, because you never know.
Just on that topic, because we're just.
It's like some people working like clothes shops or even Asda.
To be fair, though, I could really use B&Q. Do you want to swap jobs? You any good at cutting trees?
Oh, I got myself a Milwaukee fucking cutting me tree. That was obviously a Geordie accent.
That was a rubbish Geordie accent.
We're just talking before the podcast about how difficult it is to get jobs as racers, because we need so much time off, and if you're not working for yourself, if you're working for somebody else, you kind of have to go and you say, well, I need this Friday off, I need this, and I need 12 Fridays off and this test, and then I need this week off, and it's almost impossible to work for somebody else and race at the same time. If you sort of take that racing out of the equation, is there anything that you would really like to do as a job?
Any trades?
Not be at B&Q. No, right. So this is going to turn to a story, but fuck it, we're here now, aren't we?
Good man.
So I left school, and like everyone does, I didn't necessarily know what to do. So my dad was like, well, engineers make a bit of money. So I went to college to do a bit of engineering. And I kind of thought, like, you know, like the sort of machining and that sort of thing. I thought I'd get quite into that.
Yeah.
But the CAD side and that just blew my brains out. They just fried me. So turns out it wasn't for me. So I was like, well, I'll get into plumbing then. And actually, I didn't mind plumbing, to be fair. I actually didn't, you know, it was all right. My OCD, because I've got a slight OCD, so my OCD, you know, like people just put pipes together. I was fucking like polish them all to make sure that I can see myself in them. But I don't. The people I was with, I was never bullied or out, but the people I was with were just mongy, and I couldn't stand it at college. So anyway, so I quit that. Well, not quit. I'm a qualified plumber, but
there you are. That'd be good. That'd be good for Chris. He owns he's a gas fitter. Any good at gas fitting? Because Chris will definitely give you a job in a heartbeat.
No.
Have a word with him, man. You turn your hand to anything.
So after that, I was like, well, you know, I've tried 2 things now. I don't like either. What do I do? So I did. So I thought, well, I quite like. Everyone says to me, I'm brilliant at chatting rubbish, and I thought, and so everyone said,
well, Chris is looking for another co-host if you want my job. So it's is that right, Chrissy?
No
word. No. They are. It's true.
No. I was about to say. So anyway, so everyone said, why don't you get into business, be a bit of a salesman? And we got into it, and I quite liked it, to be fair. And I think it would have been end of 2018, something like that. Anyway, long story short, you do 2 years of college, get your qualification, then you go to uni. And I had not an absolute meltdown, but I had a bit of a meltdown, because at this point, it's my first year of Supersport, and I was getting top 10s, but...
In your first year?
Yeah, which is great, but at the time it felt like I was giving it 110, and the best I could get was the odd 6th, 8th, 9th, you know what I mean? So I just felt like it wasn't going anywhere. And so I was like, right, so what? Anyways, long story short, I had a dilemma whether I go to university to continue this like marketing salesman sort of thing, or focus on racing. Because I said I can't do both. Well, you can do both, but I want to put 100% into one. And I don't believe I could put 100% into racing if I was at university. I don't believe I could put 100% into university if I was at racing, and vice versa, basically. So I had a bit of a meltdown, and the theory was you can always go to university, but if we pack up racing, we can't go straight back into it. So we decided to stick racing for another year, and look how last year turned out.
That was literally last year's
yeah.
So if you don't mind me asking, what, you know, that 100% focus that you've just discussed, the fact that one or the other, what specifically changed in that? You know, we're going down the racing route. What dynamic changed you from 6th place, you know, 8th and 6th to podiums? I know that's such a vague question. There's no definitive answer. But...
Do you know what I mean?
Because you're on the same bike, weren't you?
Yeah, same bike. It genuinely, not much changed. So I think do you know what? I actually genuinely think. So when I rode that BMW, I don't know whether it. So just for one example, my starts on the 600 were rubbish. They always were. I just could not get them offline. I don't know if it was the power of them or what. I just could never get a good start. And to be honest with you, I was probably always timid without the clutch, you know, dumping it. I just never felt comfortable doing it. Rode the BMW, obviously pulls your arms off, but you get used to it, don't you?
Yeah.
And then I went to the first BSB test on the R6 after that, and it felt really, really slow, as it would do. But like confidence with dumping the clutch, confidence with snapping the throttle, everything like that, it just, you know. So I felt really confident with it. And yeah, I mean, and obviously you learn every year. You get a bit better. You learn, you know, you've got your settings from last year and stuff like that. And you know, I learned how to do my kit stuff myself on the computer.
Right.
So you know, like I say, so you know, I was always learning. So you could argue maybe it was just because I was learning, but I think genuinely riding that 1000 helped me ride the 600.
Right. So is this what? Okay. So right, we get through the season. You win the championship. Everything like that. What do you want for the future then? Here comes the Carlisle Express to Lanchester there. Lanchester.
To what?
Lancashire, whatever.
I thought it was a mix between Lancashire and Manchester.
It could have been anything, that.
What was the question?
So what is the future hold? What's the next step for you? What do you want the next step?
I think we all know what, like, yeah.
I don't know, I'm asking the question. Oh, wait, what, do you want to be stock, superbike? What do you think?
It's a superbike, innit? I mean, I think everyone in BSB, whatever championship, is wanting a superbike.
Yeah.
And I think if you don't, I don't know why you're there.
Mm-hmm.
Other than maybe to look cool in your leathers when the fans turn up, you know what I mean? Because there are a lot of people like that.
Before moving on, obviously you've got a massive year ahead of you, huge opportunity with the team that has won 4 back-to-back championships, an amazing bike, good infrastructure, good teammate. What's your obviously you're aiming to win the championship. Looking ahead into the season, who do you see as your biggest rivals?
So prior to the tests, I thought, well, my prediction was them 2 triumphs with Kyle Smith, because if you can beat Kinnesov-Oglu
And Brandon Pash.
if you can beat Kinnesov-Oglu and you can win the Daytona 200, you know what I mean? They're 2 people that can ride a bike.
Class riders.
Yeah. And that triumph is quite an unknown, but there's an argument whether they're sandbagging a little bit, but they haven't been too strong just yet in the tests.
Where were they in the tests? And
I think they were right at the bottom, pretty much near enough.
really,
Yeah.
right.
They haven't been. They've both not been very competitive.
But
both
you
tests.
could argue they have, they've got no settings.
But to be fair, even compared to Superstock, there would be nowhere in Superstock
Yeah.
on Supersport bikes.
Yeah,
So the times are way off.
So the minute
Really?
after, especially after yesterday, you've got to say I think Kennedy looks pretty strong.
I just get Supersport up. So you've got Jack Hendy and you are there's nothing between you. So first and second. Then you've got Corey McGreevy, who's racing for
Martrain.
Yeah, and ahead of Lee Johnson.
Lee Johnson 4th.
Fourth, yeah. Harry Truelove 5th.
So did Lee Johnson the 4th.
Harry had a little crash this morning coming out of Shell Oils.
Is he all right?
Yeah, he's fine. He's back out afterwards. Ali got the bike sorted. For
Yeah,
him. Shout out to Ali.
Shout out to Ali. We better get that in.
One of the
'cause
top
he
mechanics
keeps
in the British
threatening me.
Superbike Championship.
Oh, you
is
kiss
Ali.
ass. Yeah, get that bit of brown off your nose.
He's a top bloke. And then Rhys Irwin, your teammate, was 7th. Ben Curry 8th on the Gearling bike. He blew up today as well. Massive on start finish line.
I heard they're struggling to get engines, to be fair, because apparently Pichetti, what are they called? What's that team called?
Pichetti, yeah.
Pichetti. Apparently they're doing gear links, and I genuinely just found this out on the way home via text message. They're getting their engines done by Pichetti, but at the moment, like with the whole Brexit thing, they're stuck in Italy right now,
I think
and they can't get hold of
just
them.
the panic in general. I think everyone's struggling for bits.
I've got a spare ZX6 engine. If they, I've got one sitting at home.
Still got your R6 engine? Have you sold that?
Selling that.
Selling it.
Hopefully.
Right.
Well, I'm in the middle of selling it, but I've got a ZX6 engine for sale.
Oof.
And also, if anyone's out there got a crashed CBR 300, I need to buy that.
Right.
I'm just putting that plug out. Thank you for reminding me of that.
We've
mate.
got
You've been on eBay.
No, I have been on eBay. Can't find one, but I want a
really?
crash damage one.
We've got a new
That's what I'm
name for
after.
me in
Don't do that.
9th. Scott Swan. Who's he?
I don't know anything about him. He's an Irish lad.
Irish lad.
Did Moto3, I think, a couple of years ago.
Oh, okay.
Speaking of your teammate's Irish. Is he?
Yes,
No. Yeah, he is.
recently.
Yeah, how are you
Recently,
getting on with
yeah,
him? Good crack?
All right, yeah. I mean,
No wall divide between you?
No, not yet. I don't think.
Not yet.
He's all right. I mean, like we just do our own things.
Wall built by B&Q Supplies.
We've
I can't
got
build walls.
and Kyle Smith and Brandon Pasha are together in 10th and 11th. Just check they were doing 40.9 and a 41.0. What did you do?
38.0 is it? I can't.
Good
Honestly.
lad.
No, 38.9 wasn't it? No, yeah, 38.9 I think.
I
Something
think let's just check. You
That is
were second
Rouge
with
about times.
38.9. So and then they're what was it? 40.9 and 41. Yeah, so they're
Yeah.
fair bit off, to be fair.
How comfortable do you feel at that pace? You know, pushing on, like, because you and Kennedy were just
I would
way-
say really comfortable, but the
No.
last session didn't go so well, did it?
No,
so,
but that's it comes with the territory though. No, but
Yeah.
all seriousness, you know, shit happens in this sport. But I mean,
No, we did
because
because there were 40-minute sessions there, and we did some sessions where Robin said, "We'll fill the tank up. You've got a new set of tires. Don't come in," and we just literally do the full 40 minutes and didn't pull in. And yeah, my lap times, I mean, we'll find out when we go racing if I'm if I'm right up there or not in the races. But I thought my pace didn't drop off too much.
yeah, good. No, that's what I mean. Like you feel like you know when you're
Yeah,
riding
yeah.
that. Like this is a question really for the pair of you. You know, when you're putting in consistent race winning times. You know, do you feel like, oh my, is it like every corner, every lap, like shit, I'm gonna fall off, or does it?
I think that's quite.
Just flow.
I mean, don't get me wrong, maybe not, but like I think your race runs and that you get into a rhythm, and I
Yeah.
think you feel comfortable doing that.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes I think I've seen my pit board where it's in like, P7 in qualifying, and you think, fuck it, I've got nothing to lose now, I might as well risk it and go for a good lap.
Yeah.
And sometimes in them sort of laps, you would you go into a corner thinking, oh, I'm not going to stop this.
Yeah.
But when it comes to race runs, I've never. At the minute, I feel quite comfortable.
No, that's good to hear because a lot of people be listening to that going, how the hell are they doing them times? And just to put for people to get in that perspective going, holy shit. Yeah.
So sorry, we didn't actually get to the question. So you said before the test you would have said Kyle and Brandon, but
Yeah.
now after the test or some of the tests, who do you see as your main competitors?
I'd say, I mean, I think the number one main one's got to be Kennedy. But saying that, I think it's interesting that because Gearlink had gone back to the 600 frame, 600 engine,
I was about to ask
whereas
this.
Kennedy's going full bore, because last year Geelink had 636 engine, but in the old frame.
Yeah.
And that kind of is supposed
And he
to
got
work.
out to work at the back end of it, didn't he? In
And
Brands.
Westy was pretty good on it. Curry seemed to struggle. And then you got Brands actually went full bore, all 600, and went right up there.
Yeah.
Whereas Kennedy's going full 6v6 frame and engine. So, like, it'll be interesting because.
And he's doing them lap times.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So I think, I don't know, maybe making them Geelink boys look a bit rubbish from last
He's
year.
on Mupo suspension as well. Is that right? No,
Yeah,
what?
yeah.
Is he on Mupo as
Yeah.
well?
Yeah.
Fair play, mate.
What about
You know what I mean?
what
Works.
about the likes of Harry Truelove, Lee Johnson? Who else have we got?
There are six
Trulove's
lads.
fast. Trulove is quick. It's just I don't know. We'll see how the year goes. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
way I.
Very diplomatic answer there, Bradley.
yeah. It's
Very
just
good,
lovely
good.
that. Just I think he has got a tendency to throw it up the road a few times.
Click, buy, deliver. With remote purchasing from the two-time Motorcycle News Dealer of the Year, Colchester Kawasaki. Proud sponsors of Chasin the Racin.
What's the verdict on the old Rich Energy? Are you into your energy drinks?
Right. I mean,
Same
honest
it.
review here on Chasing the
for
Racing.
one, I don't want to say anything in
I
case
love it.
one day Kyle Ryder or Bradley Ray aren't performing and they would like someone from Supersport, because then this will be my favourite drink. At the moment, it just tastes like Red Bull, to be fair.
Okay.
But I mean,
Is that a good thing?
I was about
Do
to
you
say it's not a
do you
bad
like-
thing, is
Do you
it?
like Red Bull?
But then at the same time, I mean, like, I think, Monster and Red Bull. I'm probably gonna get assassinated for this because, like, like the hardcore energy drinkers out there. I think they all taste the same. No, obviously you get different flavours.
Really?
You get a Monster, you get a Red Bull, and you get a Rockstar, and you get a what's Astor's
Tone is different to me. Like.
what's Astor's version? Bull Red or something like that.
No idea.
But like, you pour them all into plastic cups, and we'll do like a thing. Maybe that's what you should do for the podcast. Pour loads of energy drinks into plastic cups and go, Chrissy, right? Name them. And I'd like to see that. I genuinely
There's
would.
a few that are similar. I think Rich Energy is really similar to Red Bull in terms of taste and obviously the can and
Taste
stuff.
buds are pretty unaccurate
But
then.
for me, the other the difference between say Rich Energy and Monster, I think is massive. And then again to Rockstar, and then which other ones are there?
Relentless.
Relentless, yeah, same again.
I miss Relentless.
Do you?
Not necessarily the drink. I like the team. I thought it looked really fucking cool. That
Yeah.
team.
I agree
one
with
of the
that.
total best. Yeah, definitely the Guy Martin Jixafar with the twin pipes. That was absolutely gorgeous. That thing, absolutely good. So right, let's continue down this road then. So British Superbikes. Do you want to go higher? Do you want to go like worlds? Some World Supersport. Worlds, literally how high? No, money was absolutely nothing.
Let's go to
problem.
MotoGP. Let's get them
Seriously.
tickets. Yeah, fuck it. Why not? But you've got to be realistic, haven't you? But do you know what? I didn't think I was going to get this far. Genuinely, and that's not me just saying, I'm comfortable now. I'm going to tell everyone I didn't think I was going to get this far. I genuinely didn't think I was going to get this far. Especially when I did Stock 6, I thought, fucking hell, this is going to be it. So, one thing I told my dad years ago is I'd just like a British Championship podium, whether that would be whatever it is, whatever class. And
Here you are with loads.
and we did Stock 6, and I got a few fourths, and I could have stayed another year, and obviously we'll never know, but realistically I'd probably have gotten a few podiums. But we said, fuck it, we'll go Supersport, and a bit of a challenge. Also, you can do more to the bikes and stuff like that, you get more track time, and I did think,
More chance for the butcher to get stuck in on the
more
kitchen
chance for the
table.
butcher to get stuck in and keep himself busy, but maybe less chance of me getting them gold cups. And but yeah, you know what? I loved every minute of it, but I did think maybe it's out of reach. But then once I got one last year and I ended up getting 6, it's quite a weight off my shoulder. I'm quite happy with that.
Here's a good question because we're in a similar. Oh, go on. Did you?
No.
We're in a similar position where when we both did Stock 600, we didn't exactly set the world alight. However, we then went on to both do reasonably well in our respective classes after Stock 6, like the step after. Why do you think that is, and why do you think a lot of top Stock 600 riders?
I know I'm firing back at you with a question now, but we were actually literally talking about this the other day. So the name that I can only think back to when I started Stock 6. So I think when I first did Stock 6, Jordan Weaving won it. I don't even know what he does now. Does he even still race?
He's hung the ladders up, Jordan Weaving.
Yeah. Then Dan Stamper, he won it year after.
Same again.
Same again.
This is what I mean. What's going on there?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean,
I mean, that rule doesn't always follow because, like, for example, the year that I did it, Tara McKenzie. Well, to be fair, Mason Law won it, but then there was Tara McKenzie, Ben Curry, and Mason Law. Now, then Taz has went on to do great things, but Mason and Ben are both.
Is Mason in GP too? Yeah. So,
honestly, I don't know. And that's another question. Like, so the Kawasaki 636 engine and frame doesn't seem to work in Supersport. Obviously, Kennedy's making it work, but in the past with Geely, has never been able to make it work. I remember talking to that Michael Dibidalf, whatever you call him, and he was always saying, we just literally cannot make it work. But I said, but it makes such a good stock six. You had, them R6s in stock six. You don't see them as high up as what they definitely used to be. Mm-hmm. Why? How come it really works for one class? Mm-hmm. And you know what? They're not too dissimilar.
I tell you what, if Jack Kennedy does come out and is like sort of winning races and challenging for the championship this year,
how many people are going to buy 6v6s?
Well, for me, he'll be firmly establishing himself as one of the best British Supersport riders. I think he's already got the record as the most wins or the most podiums in British Supersport. But to do it on different bikes and with different teams like that, I'll properly take my hat off to him if he does the business this year. It will be impressive.
Yeah, I think Robin was saying the other day, so it's like, really good in the 600. And to be honest with you, it probably has been unlucky with the whole Superbike job. But I mean, don't get me wrong, it's difficult because you get. I think it's easy to say this now, but when you actually get something on the table that's an option, you want to take it. But we've always thought, unless you can get a Superbike ride that's fairly competitive, don't do it. You know what I mean? Just because it's such a tough class anyway.
It is, yeah.
You're gonna struggle, and you're gonna struggle, especially when you're learning, and with a team that hasn't got the bits that the other teams have got, and this and that.
Both Jack Kennedy.
And I think Kennedy got unlucky a bit with the tag bike and this and that.
Both Jack Kennedy and Kyle Smith have both proved themselves as world class on the stage. On the stage, World Supersport podium finishers. Kyle Smith's won quite a few World Supersport races, and the class acts. So you're against some tough competition, but there's
it is a tough year, isn't it?
Yeah, it
is a seriously tough year.
Yeah, but you know what? Like, I thought. So a few people said to me, "Oh, you must be a bit gutted that, the 1 year you go to Appleyards is going to be a really, really one of the toughest years." But I think it makes it better. It's
totally
obviously
agree.
For entertainment values, for the public or whatever, the people watching, it's going to be better. Because at the end of the day, even though I'd love to win, nobody wants to see me win by 20 seconds or something. You know what I mean. You want a good close race, and you want more manufacturers in it, and and to be honest with you, I'm all up for it, and especially. I never really understood the whole GP2 thing, so it didn't really make sense to me. So the fact that you're getting more manufacturers getting back into 600s again, I think it's good, to get some hopefully good racing and actually give Appleyards a bit of a run for the money.
I totally agree. Here's a daft question for you.
Shoot.
You're leading the Supersport Championship this year.
No, we're all on 0 points.
Huh?
We're all on 0 points at the minute.
I think he's gone for a hypothetical.
No, hypothetical.
Okay.
So, right, you're 2 rounds off the end, you're comfortable lead, absolutely pissing it. Paul Bird picks up the phone and says, "I want you to drop your championship right now to take the Ducati ride." Would you take it?
Yes.
There we are.
For the last 2 rounds.
No. Like there's a job. No.
To finish the season.
For the finish season, like a job for next year.
Yeah,
it wouldn't be straight. Like in that situation, like let's say you've got 2 rounds to go.
Yeah,
you're leading it.
And you're leading it. You would give up a
championship,
a British Supersport Championship for 2 rounds on Paul Bird.
All right, that was different because.
Sorry, that's a better version of my question.
It's more realistic, isn't it? You wouldn't get
2 rounds. No, because
come on, we're
2 rounds. 2 rounds. No, because I think with 2 rounds to go, everyone else has got a full season under the belt. They've got full testing, and I think. You just wouldn't be able to. You wouldn't have the time to show yourself how good you could be.
Oh no, but the thing, Paul Bird's far from a mug. You know what I mean? If he saw that and went, "I tell you what, let's give him a crack for 2 rounds."
I tell you what I would say, Paul. If you're that interested and you want me on the bike much, then why don't you just wait 2 rounds and you can have me for a full 12 months a year after.
Do you get on with Paul's just down the road from here? Do you have any connections with Paul?
I would love to. I mean. I think pretty much everyone at Paddock would, wouldn't they? But I mean, I'd love to definitely have a closer one. But saying that, right? So I got 3rd. I got my first podium last year at Donington, the first round, and obviously, like your parent, your mum gives you a hug, your dad gives you a hug, a helper that comes down and gives you a hug and that sort of thing. And Paul Bird came and gave me a hug, and I was like, do you know what?
Mint.
Out of all the people, but yeah, he lives up the road, and well, not up the road, but not so far away. And my dad actually, so the company he used to work for used to buy his dad's chickens, Frank Bird.
Yeah.
And obviously butcher that, and he used to buy his chickens. Anyway, so I was like, there's always a connection there, but no, I've never really sat down. I've never really had a conversation.
That's still cool to get acknowledged by Paul Bird, though. That's outstanding. So here's another daft question. Your top 3 rides in Superbike, what would they be?
Paul Bird.
Yep.
McCann's. I think it would have to be, wouldn't it?
Let's stretch this to 5. You're on a roll here. Let's stretch this to 5.
I like the idea of the FS3 Kawasaki. That's supposed to be factory spotted, but I'm not feeling it. At the same time, I love Taz, but again, they've struggled a lot the last few years. Like, they used to be a top tier team, and then the last few seasons have been a bit rough. And Rich Energy, they seem to like be sort of taking Taz's places in like the best BMW team. I don't know. I think because Stuart Higgs' wife owns the team, I'd say FHO. I feel like you're going to be well spotted in that.
I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do this year.
Yeah.
I think a hell of a presence. Hickman's flying.
Today,
Yeah.
He's on it. He's on the pipe like.
No, I just think it's a very professional outfit. It's going to be well supported. I think I don't know. No, fuck that. No, Honda Racing, obviously.
Right.
I think 3 factory teams. You got Ducati, Yamaha, and Honda Racing. Yeah.
There we are. Very good. Right. So I'll tell you what. One of my final. Hold on. I've got to get this in before we wrap up this. But I think we're probably miles off wrapping it up, to be honest. But road racing. You've got pedigree in roads. What's your mum and dad's idea to it, and what's your idea to it? Do you fancy a dabble or?
Yeah, so a few of my sponsors used to say like, "Oh, we'll help you out a lot more if you do road racing."
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And
That blunt, literally.
pretty much, yeah. No,
Right.
so back when I was out on my old R6, I had one sponsor from the Isle of Man, who said, "Oh, I'll buy you the new model bike, all the spares. We'll do a full setup, but you got to do TT." And I'm there like, can't you just do that for me for the BSB? That'd be such a lifesaver. Anyway, no. My theory is that I don't sit here really wanting to do it.
Yeah.
So if I'm gonna do it to get a bike out of it, or if I'm gonna do it because there's better money in it, then I think I'm doing it for the wrong reasons.
Let me give you a bit of advice. There's no money in it. But no, I totally agree. I totally agree with what you're saying.
Yeah, I think you've got to want to do it. And I think
Yes.
when you watch Closer to the Edge, you think, oh God, it looks good. But like, I don't know, like between you and me, I mean, obviously I love motorbikes, but like, I think there's a few. I'm not saying there's not that risk element of track racing, because there is.
Yeah, of
but
course.
there's other things I want to do in life. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
And I just think I don't know. You put your helmet on at BSP and you do risk a lot, probably more than what you think.
Yeah.
But like, I always think I'm in control. I just don't. So I remember Guy Martin saying he loved the feeling of, if you make a mistake, that's it. It's borderline over. And for me, I don't enjoy racing because of the fear. I enjoy racing because of the competitiveness, and I enjoy having a battle with a few riders and winning that battle. Or going out and qualifying and thinking, see where we can go, and you surprise yourself and you get a good position. That's what I get really excited about. That's what makes me happy. Not necessarily thinking, oh, I need to crash there. That was a big moment. That doesn't make me.
Doesn't rev your engine.
Yeah, no, I love competing and beating others who I didn't think I'd beat and all this sort of thing. And so, I don't know, the attraction to the road racing isn't there. That being said, like, no disrespect to any road racer, hats off, and I'd love to go and watch some more of it, especially because, like, obviously a bit of a family background doing it.
Yeah.
But yeah, just not. I don't know. It's just never appealed.
No, which is fair enough. We say that all the time on the show. It's either for you or it's not. Simple as that, isn't it? Simple as that.
But you never say never. You know what I mean?
Oh God, no.
Now I've got a few other sort of topics to talk about, but I know you're quite a quirky character, and I can remember when I had Zoe on a while ago, and she was saying how much she loved your TV interviews because you're a bit different to other people. But what for our listeners and for our viewers, what's like the weirdest thing about you, like in terms, like just what's like? Can you think of anything like unique and weird?
I'm in the back of a trailer with you two.
Like hobbies or interests or.
Hey, that's the answer. That's the answer. Right?
No, you've got to get something better than that.
What's weird about me?
Have you not got any like odd habits or?
What's your worst habit?
So no, right. Fucking hell, right. Do you want to go?
No, go on, you.
You
Alright,
go
okay.
for it. Then you.
So between you, so I had a bad crash back in 2015 at Rockingham, you know, with the big sort of wall around the side.
Is this a Thundersport?
Yeah, Thundersport. I tried side in the wet, and I went into that one of them tyre walls on the outside, and I basically just crushed my legs, and I spent summer on my sofa. So my dad would wake up at like 6 o'clock in the morning, go to work, and he'd have to put me on the sofa and leave me there till 3 o'clock, and then come pick me up again. Because when you do both your legs in, you're not going anywhere, are you? And to get to my house, you got to go upstairs. So like, it's not like I can just wheel myself out, is it? Anyway, so I was just sitting there, and you can watch TV. But you can only watch TV so much, can't you? So I sort of started looking on Amazon and stuff, and I thought, what can I do to occupy my mind? And everyone says books, but I mean, I can read books, but you know what I mean? So I bought some Lego, and I thought, if I can build some Lego, and not sit there and play with it, I just quite like the idea of building it, it's off my mind. And it started off as just a bit of a sort of fizz, and then next thing you know, it was becoming like a little side hobby, the amount of fucking Lego I started getting. And then it genuinely got kind of bad, to be fair. Well, not bad, it was just my thing. And so you start, not to play with, just like I said, displayed in my room, all this Star Wars Lego and stuff. And me and Chris talk about it, because Chris actually, from DC Racing, he's got a bit of a Star Wars fetish as well.
Oh, this is good to learn. All right.
And yeah, he's got Millennium Falcon in his house and everything.
Shut up, man.
Anyway, so I got quite into that. And then around January, no, it must have been December time. Basically, around New Year time, I became newly single. And my dad looked in my room and said,
"Are you still single?"
Yeah.
They are the ladies out there.
And my dad came into my room and said, "Come on." Come on. And I was like, yeah, I know what you're saying, but like, anyway,
chicks dig it.
Long story short, I had to sell it all. I know you can say selling your soul and all that, but fuck it, like, some things have got to be done. So secretly, I do quite like Lego.
Imagine your next girlfriend coming in going, "You know what I'm into? Lego." I'd be like,
"Dad,
Dad, you've ruined me."
6 months down the line, I'll tell you about the Lego, but like,
you've got to embrace your uniqueness, man.
What's your uniqueness? What are you into?
I think it's quite.
Bear in mind you're a school teacher, so you've got to be careful what you say.
Yeah. I was going to say, I think the fact.
What's this pink wobbly thing behind you?
They're buzzing away in the background.
The fact that I race bikes, and I'm also I wouldn't say like sort of. Like,
I'm so worried.
In mathematics is like a really odd combination. Like, they just don't go together at all.
Is that it?
But in terms of, I was thinking that while you were talking, I was trying to think. I'm like a ridiculous fan of Only Fools and Horses, and know like every episode off by heart.
Never.
So I'd say, yeah, I'm like a huge Only Fools and Horses fan. And other than that, I can't really think of anything weird about this.
I think you hold genuinely. When
He's
some people
back,
just hold back just for a bit of reputation. Like I went balls out and told you about my Lego.
Lego, good lad.
I went balls out and told you about that. And a 21-year-old lad talking about Lego.
Good lad, fair play to you.
I like mathematics, and I watch Only Fools and Horses. Like, come on, we can do better than that.
I don't know if I can,
Mate, I'm from Hexham. He said the inbreeding thing straight off the bat. I'm full of weird. Full of weird.
Off camera, weren't you talking about this something? Oh, God.
Ash is the keeper. But anyway, there we go. Name dropping on the spot. So yeah, go on then. What else? I tell you what have we missed? What have we missed?
Well, I don't know.
There'll be something we've missed.
What's your weirdness?
Mate, I'm just weird.
Yeah, no shit. But I mean, like, what's something that stands out?
I'm trying to think of something.
I tell you what, we're gonna bring you back on and get you on with that. There's hundreds of things out. I'm just weird. You've met me, right?
Yeah.
I'm just full on weird. Everything I do is weird.
Used to compete in BMXs. That's a bit different.
That's not weird. I'm pretty damn proud of that.
X Games sort of thing.
No, I used to do freestyle BMX. I used to travel up and down the country.
I just mean like unique. That's like most people don't do.
Right.
Most people don't do that. Especially with
right. We're talking about just unique things. I quite like. So again, talk about OCD. I quite like cleaning things in the sense of like trainers and stuff. So if I wear them, I'll clean them and then I'll put them back into the box and then keep them in the boxes and then I don't know. It's just I can't stand people that you're wearing some as well. Like you got your Eddies on and that, and then you go out stand in some mud and that.
They are loud,
and then just be like, I just spent £70. And I'm going to throw them inside. Like, come on. Anyway, so I've got loads of packs of baby wipes. Not for anything else. Just literally for baby wiping shoes and stuff. Yeah.
Hold on. let's talk about. You don't have like a racing nickname, do you? Yours is the Weekend Offender.
Yeah.
Your
Where
race
did that
name.
come from?
Where did that come from?
Right, can I just say, part of me hates it 'cause it's a bit cringy, innit? And I think
Well,
most
not really.
racing
No,
names
it doesn't.
no, so basically the theory is so right, it's a story. It's not anything really a story. I could cut it pretty short, but like football hooligans, right?
Mhm.
You know, they're into football. Like, I thought, I'm not actually a massive football fan, to be fair. But I loved their sort of ethic in the sense that hard-working lads, 8 till 5, Monday to Friday, and then they go away for weekends because they're passionate about the sport.
Yeah.
If they don't get what they want, they kick shit off, and they go a bit mental. And
Yeah.
But I love the way they dress. I love how they all have their own coloured Adidas trainers for different teams and stuff like that, and how they dress. And to be honest with you, I just thought that the way that their theory on working class guys going away at the weekend, kicking shit off, and then going on back to the jobs on Monday.
I like it.
I just thought it's so similar to racing in the sense of working class guy goes racing. Sometimes it goes really well, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes I'll be nice as pie, sometimes I'll be really annoyed. And then you go home and you go back to work Monday. And I thought,
I like that.
And their sort of football sort of thing is like they're called weekend offenders because they offend at weekends.
Yeah.
And that was pretty much where that came from.
I like that. There we are.
But yeah,
You Dom the bomb.
Wait, mine's Dom the Bomb.
Just right.
I actually wanted to be the tarmac terrorist, ripping up the tarmac.
Thomas.
But I don't know how Stuart.
Right, then we're gonna have to rebrand that. I love it.
But I don't know how Stuart Higgs would take that.
Yeah. No, I can't imagine too well. So what about
Kaboom!
What about if you were going to give yourself a racing nickname? What would you give yourself?
What is your racing
It's
name?
just Chrissy Rouse.
I mean, Chrissy is actually my nickname. My proper name is Christopher, but nobody calls us Christopher other than my mum when I'm getting told off. On Facebook, I'm Crispy, but that's just so the kids can't find us on Facebook.
Now, typically, you've just told that to a live audience, so they're going to click that. The kids don't watch it.
I don't know. Steve Brung used to call us Rasta from Rasta Mouse because it rhymes with Chrissy Rouse. So I used to just get Rasta.
I can't imagine you wearing Rasta clothes like.
No, not exactly.
Or smoking joints.
Wagwan.
It's a surfer.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't know.
It's a bit steamy in here, isn't it?
Steamy, hot flush.
I did actually want to quickly.
Oh, God, right.
Every time I mention about Dom's race, if he's had any success, I'll mention it, and he just swerves the question and takes it on. I was speaking about the CRMC because Dom had an extremely.
That was like an hour ago.
I know,
yeah, exactly.
I know.
He had an extremely.
Let's change the subject again.
He's not very good at taking praise, Dom, so he just deflects the questions or the topic. But he had a very successful weekend down at the CRMC racing. He was on the Davies Motorsport bikes on the 500 and the 350 and absolutely smoked everybody on Sunday. Almost broke your own lap record, I think, or close to it.
Can we get a round of applause for Dominic Herberson, everyone?
Yeah, Saki.
He was,
couple of British hair gel.
Nice. He was flying, and I mean, do you wanna?
It's like that train.
I
can't wait to watch this back and actually tell if you can hear that.
I was trying to edit that.
No, that's Grace. Do you do the sound, or is it Grace? Yeah. You do the audio. Yeah. Have you met Grace?
Who's Grace?
Exactly. Grace is the magician behind the show here. She's the one who puts all the graft in.
I've watched Dynamo a few times.
Dynamo. No, she's not that magical, but she's working on it, to be fair to her. God love her.
Yeah, but
there we go.
So speaking of it, you must have been happy with the weekend.
I'm not doing well dodging this question, am I? So there we go.
You're talking to a bad person to dodge as well, because I literally will talk about anything.
Fantastic. Yeah. Absolutely fantastic. But hold on. When is Alton Park?
Alright, that's dodging. Is that dodging the question?
That is dodging. No, but seriously, I can't remember because you've got the BSB test now. When is Alton Park?
End of next month.
End of next month because I am out at Scarborough this weekend with Accountant Racing. So have you ever been to Scarborough?
No.
He's doing a parade around there.
I can't wait for this weekend.
You know you've made it when you get to do parades.
Exactly. Why don't you get yourself in?
I'm also
waving like the Queen.
I'm also trying to speak about the CRMC because when I was down there, literally everyone there is a big Chasin Racing fan. So I'm wanting to try and give it a bit of publicity. Was there anything like big events that happened? Was there any riders that had outstanding rides or big crashes or anything interesting?
No, we're going to give him a massive shout. The Welsh side of the world, Alex Sinclair. He's an absolute nutter for the show, and he'll be creaming in his pants. Just listen to this right now, I can guarantee it. But no, oh God, it totally put me on the spot. But like Richard Molnar, Joe Barton, you've got Will Loader, Heffin Owen, Ted Wolf couldn't make it with Harley Rushton and
I've got
Jamie Coward.
I got a friend that does sidecars in CMA. Was it
CRMC?
CRMC, yeah.
God, that's unexpected. You ever fancy having a go at a sidecar?
No, I mean, I don't know. I guess if I do nothing else for one weekend, yeah, I'd give it a go.
There we are.
Like,
So, anyone needs a passenger, he's your man.
I think obviously people probably knock it in the sense of thinking, you lean over. I reckon it's so much harder than what you think it is. I've never done it myself, but I just imagine, even that getting your hands in the right position, I just imagine the floor's there.
It is mint though.
I tell you, I'm so buzzing about Oliver's Mount Scarborough this coming weekend. By the time this podcast goes out, this will be going out on late Sunday night, so it'll be actually after the race weekend. Yeah. But
Congratulations.
There's a big grid going. A lot of with there not being much road racing this year, a lot of the top Irish lads are coming over.
Lee Johnson normally does well around it, doesn't he?
There's a very, very competitive grid, and the weather forecast doesn't look too good for the weekend.
It looks crap, to be fair, but you've got like Davy Todd, who's not doing British this year. You've got Lee Johnson, Dean Harrison. You've got Paul Jordan. You've got Mike Brown.
Stop psyching yourself out. You've got to be in it to win it, man.
Didn't get us wrong. I'm hungry as the rest of them, son. I'm getting me snowman on. Get the Frosty.
Chris Burns is also. He's the first MotoGP rider.
How do you think it's going to get on?
Just because he's been out for so long, I think he'll be steadyish, I would say.
Another thing, Todd's back on Michelin's. Now, Davy Todd's the fastest man around the TT course on Michelin tyres at a 128, but no one else has been near that product, like at that speed at that product. Considering they are MotoGP, they are the tyre say that word for us. Say that distributors. They are the tyre main people. So the development is at the highest level, but that hasn't filtered down to us on the road. So I'm actually really looking forward to seeing what Davey and Chris Burns can do on the Michelins, because it will. I'll put it this way: if they start banging in the same lap times, it's like what you were talking about with Kennedy. No one else is making the 636 work, and no one's making the Mupo in Supersport work. So at the end of the day, it takes one person to make that product.
I will just say, I think Mupo did win the GP2 championship last year with Mason Law, I believe. I do believe they were on Mupo, but I'm not.
I'm not saying I'm not like having a go at Mupo. I'm just saying it takes one person to actually get to win on that, and everyone goes, "Oh, there's something in it," and then you build from there.
I'll just quickly say a little drop,
best adverts,
a little mention for a couple of lads I was racing with last week. I did the No Limits endurance race down at Cadwell Park. Had such a good time. Went down late Thursday night with Piggy to do an evening session, so got a few sessions in, which was mega.
Have you ever done one
so
of them?
Good.
No.
£60 and you get 4 sessions.
4 good sessions, good track time, and I was blessed with some good weather as well. And then first thing...
Well, yeah, because I was there watching, and that seemed horrific to me.
Thursday night? No, it was beautiful.
I wasn't there Thursday night. No.
Then first thing on Friday morning, 8 o'clock in the morning, I drove up to North Allerton to do my bike theory test.
Pass or fail?
Passed, obviously.
Oh, there we
Not
go.
in the business of failing things, Dominic. You should know that. And
just literally looking at the seat covers going.
And do you know what? I'm so pleased that it got to about 11:30 on the night before, and I thought to myself, shit, I've got my theory test tomorrow, so I quickly got another app, and I can guarantee you I would have failed that test if I hadn't. I did a couple of tests, failed them, and then when I passed, obviously.
You got a bike for the road?
Things. No, that's what I'm saying. I'm doing my theory test.
Are you getting a bike for the road?
No, it's more really for doing like bike reviews and stuff.
Yeah, so like I used to do them, so Chris is getting me out the job totally. So I'm no longer going to be doing bike reviews at all. I'm gutted.
But yeah, I did actually. I was chuffed that I passed it. We did the theory test. You have to get 43 out of 50, I think. I got 45 on that one, and then the hazard perception's pretty straightforward. I didn't revise that, but you've both done hazard perception tests.
Definitely flexing right now, isn't it?
I've got my licenses, Chrissy.
Yeah,
I've got a car one.
Hazard perception's pretty straightforward. And then back to Cadwell, can I just give a shout out to, I was doing the endurance with John Ingram and Lee Payne, and what a cracking couple of lads. Really, really chilled out.
Is Lee Payne MX1 motocross material? Is that the same
Speedway.
guy? Speedway?
Yeah.
All right,
he might have done a bit of motocross.
That sounds
as well.
like pain.
Oh, for God's sake. Fast lad, mate.
He did actually retire from Speedway from a big crash, funnily enough, with his shoulder. But
seriously fast lad. Though.
Cracking couple of lads, and just so exactly how me and Piggy like to work, just totally chilled. productive, but there's no stress in the garage. It's just this, and we just had such a laugh, and we ended up winning the race as well, which I was well chuffed
Now,
with.
did Crowe go on the Pirellis?
It was Lee Payne and John Ingram.
John Ingram, sorry, where
Yeah.
am I got? Crowe's
Listen
Crowe's
next
graphic.
time, will you?
I do
Jesus.
apologise. I do apologise. Getting told off by the Perrier here. So
But kind of, and also about them two, all three of us were within 4/10 of a second. Like our best laps were within 4/10. So I did a 32.0. Ingram did a 32.2 and Lee did a 32.4. So it was like
he's no mug, is he?
exactly. We're like just but really consistent, and also can I just say that this. He's now my hero, officially my hero. Richard Stedman used to race with him. He's 52 years old, and after he was teamed up with Tim Neve. Tim led the first stint, pitted. Steady went out to do half an hour stint. Went out to do the second stint, and unfortunately Tim became ill. So when Steady came in from his session, they had
Became ill.
Yeah, he was ill. So they got Tim's bike ready. So Steady came in expecting to have a half an hour break, jumped on Tim's bike, then jumped back on his bike, then Tim's bike, then back on his bike. He did 5 half an hour stints back to back, and the only people that beat him were BSB riders. He finished 8th overall. And this is the best bit, right?
Around Cadwell Park of all places as well.
He did, 2.5 hours without a break. It is literally unbelievable. And the best bit about this whole thing, right? After my first stint, I had a full hour's recovery. Then went back out. I did a flying lap, and actually passed Steady going on the start-finish straight. So I was on the right-hand side of him, and I would say I'm like pretty decent into turn one. Brake quite late, trail all the way in. So I broke where I would usually going in. Steady stuffed it up underneath me and pushed us out wide into
Go
turn
on,
one.
Steady.
I was about to
52.
say.
This was
Putting a BSB rider in his place.
Good lad.
Over an hour after he'd been on the track by himself.
There's nothing steady about Steady.
That's because he couldn't feel his brake lever at that point.
But can I just
Sorry, Chrissy, I just cannot brake anymore.
Can I just say,
Well-
Steady is now officially my hero. And
Steady,
I
are
just-
you
if he
willing
is
to come on
listening-
the show?
Yeah, if he is listening, I just want to say, if anyone knows Richard Stedman, drop him a message and just congratulate him, because obviously it's not very well followed, the No Limits endurance race, but that is unbelievable. And like I said, if that's like 80 laps back to back. A BSB race is what, like Supersport race is like 16 laps, 80 laps back to back.
And he's
It's
52.
unbelievable.
And he's
That's
52.
Five races back to back, 52, and he never
Age is just a number.
he was just banging out like sort of 36s, 37s every lap. And like if you went around Cadwell
That
doing a
too.
36, 37,
It's making Rossi look like a mug now, isn't it?
That's
So, yeah.
never heard of a Rossi compared to him. They are
But
steady. Nothing steady about Steady.
I tell you what,
like
I
it.
went down.
Steady had his Viagra pill before his race, didn't he?
me and Tom Ward went down into Louth for a kebab on the Friday night, I think it was. Bloody hell, that was an experience. We went into some beer garden. I've never known anything like it. There was just everyone just knew everyone, and there was like massive domestic just scream. We literally sat there, and there was just like tables screaming at each other like for the first full 30 minutes, and then we just had to get out. So if you ever get into Louth, I think it was Oliver's we were at. It's definitely
Entertaining.
the place to be in Louth. But also, before we wrap things up, did you get to see MotoGP last weekend?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
Hell of a
What
race,
a
wasn't
race.
it? Everyone
What a
was
race.
man.
And I love the idea of doing of them what they call stop races where you jump off
The flag to flag.
That's
I
the
like
name,
it.
innit?
Rossi
Yeah.
says they're dangerous. I'm a Rossi
It's
fan.
only because
but-
he's aching when he gets off and
Aye.
stumbling into his bike and then crocking his leg back on the other one. I'm joking, by the way. I know some massive Rossi fans across the world because it's great guy, probably.
But like you say, the flag to flag system, it just entices.
It was a
like,
mess, though, wasn't it? It was
mint.
a mess.
But that's
It
what
was great. It
racing's
was
about.
entertaining.
Can you just do me a favour, because I only caught the last 2 laps? Give us a quick rundown what actually happened.
From the start, I honestly don't know much about the start. All I know is it started raining.
Slicks, they were banging out Quattararo, and it was
yeah.
getting really, really comfy.
Started on dries.
It started on
Started on
dries. Miller, so it started raining. Miller went straight on into the gravel trap.
Here's a question. Why was it flag to flag if you start on dries? Did they know it was going to rain?
Yeah, no. So basically, when the flag gets shown, then you can pit, can't you?
Right.
Yeah,
So
but why
when-
was it not red flag then?
No.
then it
That's the whole
starts a
point of the
rerun.
flag. So basically, they put a flag out saying you've got the choice to go in. Now, what they did on the slicks.
So in MotoGP, do you never get a red flag rerun then?
No.
that's
If
what
there's
I'm saying.
an incident, if there was an incident, so when they put the flag out with the conditions changed, that flag from the clock of the course is going, look, you can now come in
Yeah.
and swap bikes. So but now, to be fair to them, they put that flag out proper early. Miller took the lead because he's massive Billy Big Balls from Australia, and he just went in so deep, and Quartararo played it really, really safe. Not take that back, it's not like he dropped miles off the grid, but they went for an extra lap till the point of it was absolutely howling down with the
They were tippy-toeing around that flat.
Oh, they were, weren't they? And then I think a couple of people came in early to sacrifice for the time.
And then Miller speeded through pit lane, so we got a 2 long lap penalty, which I thought was pretty impressive, the fact that, because it's like an extra 4 seconds, they say, roughly, and like he caught up in like half a lap. Like his lap time was so similar to Quartararo's, who was leading at the point, even doing his long lap.
It was unreal, but then it became bone dry. I mean,
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
eight, like these are the laps you would have walked in on, and it would have been 8-9 laps on these Michelin wets, and the sheer fact that normally a tyre would delaminate.
Rins took the front literally as he left pit lane.
Oh God, that was straight off the warm. So they're allowed now in those rulings. Normally, what they've done in the past is say you're not allowed tyre warmers and stuff like that. But like he had 3 crashes, didn't he? No, 4 crashes that weekend.
He's had 3 in a row now in the races, hasn't he?
3 in the championship. I think that weekend he had 3. You know what I mean? It just wasn't his weekend. You know, but like you say, it's his championship is totally and utterly stuffed. Did Mir crash?
Yeah, Mir crashed. Yeah, before they came into pits.
And more importantly, so when they did the bike swap, guess who was leading it? Marquez. And you just think,
yeah, but there's a bit of controversy about that, because I'm happy Marquez is back. You know what I mean? I think I think everyone says, oh, it's made it boring now, but MotoGP is about being the best of the world, and I think you got to beat the best, be the best. Okay, yeah, he's not there yet, but long story short, I'm happy he's back. But there was a bit of controversy about that because he cut the pit lane entry. There's a white line, and Fabio was on it, and he sort of cut it, and no one picked up on it. Especially like obviously now in an era where if you touch the green, lap cancelled, stuff like that. So yeah, I don't think anything will happen from it. But I saw a few people kicking off online about that. But yeah, and then Quartararo went to the wrong bike essentially, which I thought, I mean, it's a mistake anyone can do. But to get a long lap penalty, because they dragged his bike away before Vinales got there, so it wasn't. I know, but it's like one of the rules that you went to the wrong one, it's dangerous. You get a long lap penalty for it.
That's the thing. There's that many tolerances at the high end level. You have to stick with the rules, which is fair enough, and it makes it definitely more entertaining for us sitting on the sofas, without a doubt. But I tell you what, Marquez, when do you think he's going to get the confidence back? In your opinion, as bike fans, is his confidence shaken? More importantly, as racers, do you think his confidence is shot? Marquez.
Are you going to take this one? Or?
No, you can.
Safe.
Or do you think it's the Honda?
Do you know what? Like, I didn't know. I was literally 50-50. You know, because everyone said, will he come back like the old Marquez, or will he come back steady? I genuinely didn't know.
I was expecting him to come back full.
The way that he went, even Portugal, the first lap he was nearly leading it. You know, don't get me wrong, his arm hurt. Obviously, it ached, and he dropped right back to 10th or something, which is still a great result. I know it wasn't. It was like 7th. I can't remember.
Yeah,
anyway, and again, Jerez, he threw himself at the barrier trying, and I think he had 2 crashes in that race, in Le Mans. And you know, I think the first one was a big one as well.
Yeah, he's had some big crashes.
I think he doesn't. I think he wants to be back at the front desperately. I think it'll happen.
No, it'll definitely happen. But it's like his confidence thing. It's like, for me, it's like you've got the world's best rider, and it's definitely humanised him.
I don't
at the moment he's humanised, because like, you know what, a year ago it was like, my God, you know, before his crash it was like no one's going to get near him. He was the unshakable rock in the sport, and now it's like.
But don't you think, like, I mean, don't get me wrong, he's back, and he was always going to be, you know.
He was always going to come
back.
back.
I think no matter what happens now, literally no matter what happens now, he'll always be in like sort of like that legend category for what he's done. But I think last year, like I say, it just shows how quick, and it's like BSB, it's like any championship, how quick you go from being someone everyone talks about to someone you get forgotten about, in the sense of like, you know, you have one bad season or one season, like, you know, Marquez was top of the world, had one injury, next thing you know he might never race a bike again. You know what I mean?
It's a proper ruthless sport. And just to highlight how ruthless it is, this time last year at the French Grand Prix, Jake Dixon nearly won his first Grand Prix, and crashed. This weekend he qualified 26th and finished, I think he was about 18th, but pretty much the only people he was ahead of was the people that like got long lap penalties who crashed.
I was watching BT Sport, and they were all talking about how like a lot of riders, Vinales is one as well, like they'll talk his mental state is maybe a bit more unstable than others. And Miller, he sort of cancelled his Twitter account. I said, like, don't get me wrong, I don't get it because I'm not really that well known at all. But I can understand why top riders do sort of look away from the social media, because like your Dixon and that, he'll get like 18th or whatever he gets, and he's gonna get some
slandered.
stick.
But the world's full of wet wipes, isn't it? But like you say, social media doesn't help that, does it?
But yeah, I mean, good race though. I watched it.
Oh,
Here's a real nerdy question for you, really, Dom. Going ahead to Oliver's Mount, it's just sort of popped in my head here. I was aware that Dean Harrison had moved to Dunlops for the TT. Do you know what he's like? You mentioned Davy Todd's going on. Did you say Michelin's?
He's on Michelin's for
600.
Oliver's Mount on the 600. Yeah, he's got a Super Twin entry as well.
Right.
But I don't know what bike he's on.
Is there any road racing going ahead this year?
Yeah. Oliver's Mount, Armoy, and the Macau Grand Prix.
So out of the
China,
out of the main riders at Oliver's Mount, who goes on what tyres do you run?
Metzler's.
Right, and what about
Dean
Harrison?
Dean Harrison is on Dunlops. Now, I tell you what's interesting. He won the Dunlop Senior last time we were at the Isle of Man on Metzler's, but he will bang out 135s. Dean Harrison on Dunlops. I will put money on it.
I was saying this to Michael Dunlop, and sorry, like again,
he's a Dunlop man.
You're talking about one thing, and then we end up fucking butting in on top of something. But don't you think when we go to the TT, hopefully in 2022, which I think is probably looking likely, the lap times, then because it's been like 2 years, if not 3 years,
2.
Missing
by
2
the
years.
time we get there, miss it. I think like that a lot. Them first laps that people go back on, especially maybe not necessarily like your Dunlops or whatever, but like in DC racing, your Mike Norburys and yourselves and that. Like, I think obviously you watch your onboards and you won't forget your clips, but them lap times, because I remember Hickman, he did 130 almost instantly on his like first practice night.
Dean Harrison was 132 straight away, wasn't he? Like on either first night, second night.
I
just have a feeling that they're gonna be like back down to the 126s, especially for the first few days or whatever.
100%. Now,
not 26s for me.
No, but I tell you what, honestly,
and the
Gary
road
Thompson's got a hell of a
riders
job.
the road riders that do BSB, like your Harrisons and Hickmans, and the ones that don't do track racing, I think like are gonna have so much difference in sense of
massive. And that's why I'm so grateful to Chris and Dean for putting me on, like, giving me the track time on the big bike.
Keeping sharp.
And it's for me, it's a little balance of not breaking their bikes and keeping them right, but they're great lads and they're giving me a great opportunity, and the accountants are keeping me on with the roads on the 6 and the twin. So I'm very lucky, and I'm hopefully going to be in that bracket to be that higher up. But like you say, it's definitely going to be it's going to be a learning curve again, and even the fast lads, they're not going to be. It's going to be a steadier progression.
Is Jamie Coward there on the twin?
Jamie Coward's, he's the one to beat now. I'm not sure if Dean's on a twin. Dean Harrison, I'm not sure.
Jim Hine gone?
Jim Hine, so he's definitely a threat. Massive. I tell you what, that it's going to be for a footpath of a track. It is going to be so tight, and I mean, as far as spectating, it's going to be the event to be. I'm telling you.
Good looking to turn one.
Who do you see? Yeah. Who do you see as your top three? Like threats in Supersport and top 3 in.
It's not just 3. I'm not just saying that. I mean, it's like, my God, you got Lee, Dean.
The Spectator's going to be there.
James, Spectators, so they've actually upped the numbers as well. But as far as a track dynamic, that is the most frustrating thing about Oliver's Mount qualifying. And I wear my heart on my sleeve, and I'm very honest, I'm shit at qualifying. If you're not in the front 2 rows, mere hairpin is that tight. If you're mid-grid, the front lads are halfway up the hill. There is nothing you can physically do from that position. You're watching them go.
I remember that famous clip. It must be in like 2012. Someone sent it in turn 1 and they took the whole field out. It was like domino effect. I just imagine like if someone like yourself gets a shit qualifying, frustrated, someone breaks in front of you and you are slamming them, like it's dominoes.
That's exactly it. It's just it is a different game. You've got to but that is the frustrating thing. And I've heard a rumor on the rumor mill that they're not doing rolling grids, and I'm hoping that changes.
What?
So
do they ever do rolling grids?
So rolling grids. So like normally what they've done in the past is where they go for your lap time. So if you're mid grid, like watching everyone piss off, your incentive is to try and push up the grid for the Sunday race. You know what I mean? So you think you've got to dig in and get your lap times up. So
from lap time up position.
Lap time. Yeah. So, but what I've heard is at the moment, now I think it's the clerk of the course discretion to change that situation. But if you get held up on a hot lap or anything like that, bear in mind you only get 4 or 5 laps in qualifying. It's proper. You haven't got any time to make up for that. If you're in a bad pack, you're stuffed. But really, you know, if you're at the back of the A group, you're like, well, you want to be pushing for wins.
I remember at Northwest. I can't remember what year it was, but someone didn't qualify. A front runner didn't qualify very well, and because you got your 2 waves, haven't you?
Yeah.
And so he was starting at the front of the second wave, and he ended up winning the race because he was way faster than wave 2 and could just do his own thing.
Yeah.
And I remember loads of teams were kicking off saying he did that on purpose so that, because whilst the front group were all battling away on lap times, he was doing his own thing, and he knew that. And I don't know whether it actually was like that or it genuinely was just one of those things that would just happen. But
it's one of those, like, I remember Dan Neen did that at Cookstown one year because he had such a clean run, like you say, because it's such a compressed lap. People were passing, duffing each other up, and Dan Neen just went boom, boom, just got in a rhythm, and he absolutely pissed that race at Cookstown. Absolutely, he was riding for John Burrows that year. He absolutely held away, but because of the safety aspect, they do have to break up the grids, and it definitely makes it entertaining, especially if you're watching it on live timing. You'll be like, bloody hell, what the hell's going on? People, he's over there, he's over here. But Oliver's Mount, it's a flag-to-flag system, so it's like off you go. You know, if you're in Group A, you're all away at the same time, but you've got to make qualifying work, and that's where my nerves are, is getting qualifying right. Because you need to be in the front 2 rows, and you speak to any Oliver's Mount rider, and any spectator, you watch that and they know I'm right.
Is there a particular strategy for qualifying in terms of, like, is it just about getting track position and then just really stitching everything together nice?
It's one of those, because if you get you know yourself, you know, when you're out qualifying, you'd love it, you'd almost want a clean run, but then you need a rabbit to chase, don't you? And you need someone to gauge off. It's like my qualifying last year, me and Lee Johnson had a clear lap. Lee followed me. And I'm going, what the fuck? And that was a huge incentive for me to go, bloody hell, you know, I was pushing on like an absolute clapper, thinking, here he comes any minute. And it was a bit sketchy conditions, and me and Lee were on the front row, and you're thinking, all right, but that was lucky. Even Lee came to me and went, that's the luck of the draw. But in the same breath, if they keep the grids the same, imagine if Dean Harrison had 20 riders, not a clean lap, you know, in front of him. You know, we're talking about the lap record.
I always think qualifying, you can sometimes, and don't get me wrong, that is good to have a plan. I think sometimes you can overthink it in the sense of having strategy and stuff. And, you know, like, I remember we always talk about trying to find clear space. You look at the live time with all the dots on, like, where's the clear space? And you try and plan it, and it never goes to plan. And sometimes you think, fuck it.
Track was well busy today. There was like 50 odd tracks.
Yeah.
And obviously
that's a lot of people on.
Stock 1,000 mile with Supersport as well, and obviously with the speed difference on the straight, it's like it was very, very busy.
Do you find that unsafe, or are you happy to do that? Bloody hell, we've got two different riders here.
I'm like I say, I'm quite a calm. I was kicking off at Snetterton because the amount of times that I nearly went into the back of people, did my tits in. It's just 2 different ways of riding bikes, isn't it? You've got one that carries corner speed and one that V-shapes corners and bolts it down the straight. I didn't think it was too bad. I thought it was all right.
Yeah.
But weirdly with Snetterton, you think it'd be better for the long straights. But I think it's because chicanes and stuff, stock thousands don't necessarily get in the way because they brake really hard, just like us. So they're not holding me up in any way whatsoever. And it's just left, right, out. It's the fast ones, like you got like Cascades or Island or something like that. Or like at Snetterton you got Coram or something like that. That's the ones that I felt like. But it's just about, but then you look, then again you slap yourself in the face and say you're testing, you know what I mean? It's not what you're doing. You're stressing them out about something that literally isn't that big of a deal.
I tell you what, you need to make an apology actually for, do you know, can you
There's
remember?
loads of apologies I need
Papa
to do.
Smurf from things. I'm getting so much shit off him because every time I see him, he thinks it's me that said it. And I'm saying,
oh, for God's sake, if you listen to this, get over it. It's a point of reference.
said
You're
it's
big and blue.
I said
what?
it's Dom. And he said, and he looks at us as if I'm like joking. I'm like, it actually wasn't me.
You know what? I was trying to be grateful for the fella to actually saving Mike Norbury's life, so thank you very much. But it was like there was a big guy in blue leathers. There you go. So I do. What's his name?
I pass.
But that bloke there, right? I would
not-
look down
it's
the
not
lens.
my
I do apologise.
I do know it's CT
racing. It
It's not
wasn't
my dad's
anything
traditional
derogatory.
medicine.
You know what I mean? But for me, I've got to put something with something to remember.
That's,
So, last time my hand out.
That
Thank you.
team is
Yeah.
real well turned out. They've got I think
Look mint.
BMW, Kawasaki, and a Suzuki, a little bit like DC, and the suspension. I think it's called Bulletin suspension. It's like it's come from car racing. Steve Plater's their test rider.
Really?
Yeah, and Sonny Wilson's I think involved in developing it, and it's like not a very well known suspension in the motorcycle racing world, but they use it for the endurance and they do pretty well on it.
There we are. No, well, good luck to the team.
Never watched a Smurf movie.
All that, you just got that out.
No, you were about you calling him Smurf, and I was like,
no. Basically, there was a guy that was just listen to the episode. There you are. No, I apologise.
Talking random stuff. I'm just playing with this can because that's what I do. Honestly, I can't Anyway, so someone told me the other day that if you know them the can tips, if you put that into the can, it keeps it fizzy. Did you know that?
Shut up, man.
I know.
Shut
but then
up.
again, I think if I'm going to go like that, I'm just going to swallow it.
You're going to swallow it down and choke
But
yourself
that's
to
what
death.
I got told. That it keeps it fizzy. Don't know if that's true. You're probably better with that science stuff than I am. But
And we'll find that out in the next episode.
I tell you what, one thing that you both got in common is you've both got sort of clubs. Like on here, we talk about Dom's 130 club all the time. Do you want to give your 97 club a little bit of a shout out?
Yeah.
I do believe my dad and Kev are members or were members last year.
So
thanks to Marty and Kev.
I know.
I'm doing your
Keep the Faith Part 2. I tell you what, if anyone's watching from the start and still watching at this point, hats off.
Fair enough.
Because we've just gone from one end to the other so much. Anyway, never mind. Club 97, just a scheme, a sort of little club essentially for people that. So when I was struggling financially, loads of people would come up to me and say, "Oh, can I help you out with a little bit?" We're talking about 50 quid, 100 quid sort of thing. And I would always be like, "Thank you so much, but I'm just going to be honest with you, that's not what I need to stay on track. That's not enough." But then the theory was, well, if you get a group of these people that can all put a little bit of something, because people, I'm very lucky in the sense that I have got a lot of people around me that do support me.
Yeah.
And and so that was the idea. And Club 97, it's pretty straightforward. 97 quid. It keeps me on track. You get a T-shirt, poster, cheaper tickets to BSB, and all that sort of thing. Coming to the Appleyards garage if that really turns you on, sort of thing. And which for people that are into bikes, it does.
Yeah.
And it keeps me on track. So no, honestly, like it saved my ass that a couple of years ago, and we still do it today. And it's again in the tiers of sponsors on the biggest to smallest. I think if Club 97 is a sponsor, it's got to be in the top 3 or 4 of my sponsors. Is that Club 97 scheme?
And how do people join?
So you can just message me privately. Do you know what the thing is? We were having a conversation about this the other day because we've been getting a bit more publicity last year because the board never ever filled up completely. It was always 3/4, something like that.
Yeah.
And and because of the publicity I got last year with podium stuff, people started liking my Facebook page and all this sort of thing.
Yeah, of course.
That's how it works, isn't it? And this year it's a filled up board.
Brilliant.
Which is fantastic and obviously massively appreciated.
Do you know, is it sad that I'm sat here trying to work out what 97 times 97 is?
Just do 100 times 100.
And then take a bit off.
Yeah. 100 times 100. Anyway, never mind. So you just message me privately and I'll sort you out.
Yeah,
but
brilliant.
The thing is with that is it's a club and that's why people join to get the number because there's 97 spaces. Now because it's all filled up, I don't necessarily know what to do because there's still people that say to me, "Oh, can I join?" I'm like, well, if you join, even though it's full, that kind of like
defeats the object.
But at the same time, I'm not in a position where I've got my Porsche outside where I can turn away sponsors. So I don't think about it.
People are going to help you, but if they want to get in touch, what's the best way of doing it? Just drop me a message on Facebook.
Drop me a message, yeah. And like I say, I mean, we can still do something, whether we can get you T-shirts or something.
Of course.
With the actual club board itself, we have 97 names.
Having a 97 plus club.
Yeah.
The board on the extra there.
Well, it's 2021 and you got plus size models. You can get plus side boards.
That's the one.
Absolutely mint. But
I tell you what, one thing. I just keep getting random things in my head. I had such a good day on Sunday. I've got a special thank you to Aaron Summers, speedway rider who had on the podcast a while ago. But he took us up to. I went up with Paul Wheatley from NGK.
Yes, I thank you, Paul, by the way, for the spark plugs for me 500i. You're a legend. Thank you so much, mate.
Passion in that then.
Oh God, I know that sauce running crisp, mate. Absolutely crisp.
Me and Paul went up to it was Duns, which is it's quite near Berwick. It's on the Scottish borders, and there's a little speedway practice track, and Billy Bold came.
How did that little princess get on then?
He was mint.
That's defeated defeated it now, wasn't it though? Because we had £100 bet who would do a quicker lap. Do you know who Billy Bolt is?
I haven't got a clue. This is what I mean about
YouTube it.
Right, stop. This is my problem. I'm talking about racing. So in BSB, obviously I'm a very happy person. If you want to come talk to me, I'll come talk to you. And I'll never say someone's not. I'm definitely not approachable. Come talk to me about anything. I'm quite casual that way.
Especially Lego.
this isn't going
Hit
to
him,
for me.
hit him, hit him, hit him, hit him,
But,
hit him, hit him.
No, I mean, fucking hell. So, but at the same time, for some reason, I just keep myself to myself because I don't like the whole gossip side of the paddock, and the paddock can be a bit gossipy, especially as, like, the kids and that.
Yeah.
And so when it comes to knowing people, like, I don't know who you even just said, Biggie Bolt, whatever, I don't have a clue who anyone is, and not just because I'm not interested, but just like you said, the weekend I met this fucking like speedway rider, or like I'd love to meet people, but I just don't. For some reason I just never connect with it.
I'm the exact same. To be fair, I didn't know who he was till that's the thing about the pod. I have learned so much, and he's still now. I'm like that. Who? What? Going on? And every time I learn something. But seriously, check him out, Billy Bolt. The things he can do. He's an enduro rider, like world champion enduro rider, and he chucks around a 450 motocross bike like a BMX. He's unbelievable.
Can't get rid of that BMX fancy, can you?
No, never will.
But yeah,
never
anyway,
will.
went up. It was flat tracking, and I had to go on Aaron's speedway bike as well, 500. And just quick thank you to him. It was a mega day. Loved it.
Was
and
Billy any good though?
Yeah, it was really good. And flat tracking is a flat track that I was on the 450 KX 450. It was as much fun as you can have like on a practice day. It was so good.
Was Billy any good then?
Yeah, I'm saying he was mega, really good.
Shit.
Really
so
good.
I haven't got a hope then. I'm gonna have to get some practice in now because Billy's
I know
totally tarnished the bet now.
Dom is really like weirdly really good at stuff. Like when he just jumps on like trials and.
As I said, this is my biggest downfall. I've literally never done anything with an engine other than drive my Mini and race a motorbike. So like when
at a very high level.
When people talk about not the Mini driving, when people talk about enduro, speedway, motocross, all that sort of stuff, like I'd love to give it a go. I just
it's weird.
Life's for living.
Where we're sat now, I come here all the time, like literally 2 miles away. There's a quarry, Homeside Quarry, I think it's called.
Yeah.
And that is you've been as well, haven't you?
It's been crap.
I don't know if that's more hurtful than anything. The fact that like someone who like we spend a lot of time in the paddock. Well, I never spend time with him, but we're in this very small paddock 12 times a year, if not more, with the testing, and he comes like within a couple of miles of my house. And
I didn't even know you lived here.
Mate, we just got your postcode to do this interview, so I don't know what you're talking about. We'll get you invited over next time. There we are. There's a definite. But I'll tell you what, lads, we're going to have to wrap this up because unlike you two,
what time are we on?
I have work tomorrow, and it's
11:11.
It's 11:11. They are sign of an angel, like sign of an angel.
Where are you grafting at the moment?
Where am I grafting? Up in Wollaston. You're welcome, you G. Up in Wollaston. So I'm actually going to Scotland now. So there you go. So
you're driving from here to Scotland.
I'm going from here to Scotland, young'un, because I've got a job.
Why are you, man?
Pay for that was actually still shite.
I thought that was pretty good.
That's not bad. I tell you,
Not bad.
quick shout out. It's a bit of a special day for you last week, wasn't it, with your dad?
Oh God, so no, thank you. You're on the ball today.
Mark Hubbard,
Mac Tools.
I'm keeping you right on this one, Doc.
I'm glad this notepad's here. There you go. And Deaf and Glory Tattoos. There's a sponsor coming on board with me this year. Thank God for them.
You're sponsored by a tattoo company?
Yeah, damn right I am. How cool is that?
Have you got a tattoo?
No. Because my mum's watching, so no, I don't. But anyway,
you've got a Smurf
Mark
in
Hubbard.
his
Smurf. Yeah, I've got a Smurf tattoo on my chest. What the hell were we talking about?
Mark Hubbard, Mac Tools.
Mac Tools, thank you so much for the hoodie. It's Chasin the Racin one. It's absolutely class, man. Absolutely class. And my dad, that was it, my dad. So John Chapman had a test day at Blighton Park. It's a track that's owned by Janetta. Have you ever been to Blighton Park? You ever heard of Blighton Park? I never have heard of it till I went there. It's actually a really good practice track, and I was going around the 250, RS 250, absolutely awesome two-stroke thing. And I was going around on that, and my dad crashed last 2019 at the Classic TT. Engine seized on him, tipping in mountain box. He went in the side of a mountain at 120 mile an hour. He should not be here. That's the truth. And his femur was obliterated in the 3 bits. So.
God, I love road racing, man.
I know, honestly, but my dad's raced my entire life. But anyway, he wouldn't change it for the world. And this is the first time he's been back out on a bike. He's been doing a bit of road riding, which isn't the same. But the first time he's been back out at Blighton, bear in mind, he's still got the metal work in, hasn't done anything for 2 years. He was really, really bad shape, mate. He was probably banged up. 1 lap. Got his eye in. Next lap, he was absolutely hammering round Brighton Park. Never been to the track, nothing. And it's just, for me...
Showing you up?
Oh, totally. And it was just a huge confidence thing for myself more than him.
Proud son moment.
Oh, honestly, but the thing is, you just think, he was in such a bad state and you're thinking, please just go right. You know,
It's the whole Marcus thing again, isn't it?
It is, but the thing is, within one lap, it was just like, boom, age is just a number, and it was just him and the smile on his face, and you just think, this is class. And at no point has he ever thought about giving up racing because it makes him happy. And it's just so good to see him back on a bike, and more importantly, his leg is in such good shape now. And you'll hate me for saying this, but my old man's 60 plus the VAT, and he's got metalwork in, but the bone's grown that well. He can get the metalwork out, so that means, you know, he can get back to racing hard. Because if he had another crash with the metalwork in, he would have lost his leg. Because if he warped that metalwork, it would have been inoperable after that. So no, he's a legend, my old man. Like, I mean, he really is.
Again, like, I know we're trying to wrap this up, but like I was about to say, just on a similar sort of topic to that, I always think about racers, how like we all want to make it a career and all that, and then even though that's what we're wanting to do, we actually just enjoy racing as well. And then when it becomes the point of actually, say that if you don't quite make it, you don't get the opportunities, you don't get the financial backing, and it just becomes a really expensive hobby, having to stop that and then get a normal 8 to 5 or whatever job, I just imagine, you know, like say you're talking about your dad who's like 60 or whatever he said, and he's still like, motorbike racing makes him so happy. I just think it's just hard for motorcycle racers to do that for so long. Like, I know you've been racing since you're little, I'm racing since little, to do something for so many years and then be like, actually, we didn't make it in the end. Let's just call it. You know what I mean? Like,
everything else in life.
It's a tricky topic.
I could not agree more. My biggest fear is like, yes, I would love to be a professional rider and get paid, but that's doesn't matter. My fear is having to stop racing or not being a part of racing. That is genuinely my biggest fear. It's not being able to race a motorcycle.
I think my fear. I don't know. I think obviously there is a fear of just not actually doing it anymore, which is obviously, you know, it's frightening, but at the same time, it's a tough one, isn't it? Because you love it so much, and
you don't want to let it go.
And I think lockdown was good because I think because I've got a few friends who do club racing, and they said because of lockdown the first time round, you do 6 months where you can't race a bike, and a few of them said, do you know what? I think there's other things in life I want to do instead. Me personally, I was craving it. I was like, oh my god, it's been so long. You know, so I that definitely showed me that if I was going to stop, it would probably be the wrong decision as of right now. Whereas some people didn't seem to have the sort of desire to do it. But I just imagine just out of your control being told, right, that's it. You know, like what? And my dad's always talked about it, saying like, oh, you could get into maybe something else, something like downhill mountain biking or something like that. And it's just not the same. I struggle to find, because people say skiing's kind of similar, but it's different, though, isn't it? Like, what could you do if you're going to stop? There's a question for you. If you're going to stop doing motorcycle racing, you had to replace it with something else, what would you do?
Difficult one for me. Like.
It would be motocrossing for me, but that's still racing motorbikes. You know, if you got rid of every kind of discipline in motorcycle racing, I have no idea.
There's nothing in life for me. There's nothing in life that like comes close.
Replicate this, any discipline. You know what I mean?
That's what I mean. You see, like, you know, you see your mates. I'm assuming, like, I'm 21. You guys are a little bit older, but you know, you see your mates, whatever, like going to clubs and pubs and stuff like that. And don't get me wrong, there are times where you think, you know what, like, I miss hanging out with my friends or whatever. But like, I never craved it personally. I've never been there going,
I need to get out club.
God, I want to go out. You know what I mean? Like, I've always thought that.
It's not like one or the other though, is it? Like I've always.
What I'm saying is, like, people like have their things that they absolutely love.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Everyone grows older, and you look a bit daft in the club at 30. But you know, like, what do you do when you stop? Like I say, it's just interesting, isn't it? What do you do when you stop racing? And I can imagine for a rider, it's really tough. You know what I mean? That's done it for so long. But my God, are we going on some topics at the moment? It's got a bit depressing, actually, hasn't it? We're not questioning. I should imagine Chris is the most miserable teacher after. Hello, class.
Now, I tell you one thing.
I did a podcast with Bradley the other day.
Just a quick thing. I got to meet one of our patrons today for the first time, Wayne Sherwood, who sent me a very.
He's a club member as well, 130 club member. Yep. So there you go.
Sent us a very generous donation towards my racing fund last year, so it was lovely to meet him in person. And it's, you know, with this podcast, it's very weird, Brad, because it's kind of grown a lot during lockdown, and because there's been no fans at the racing, we're kind of grown a bit of a community, but not actually face to face meeting them. And it's so nice to, we get questions from patrons and stuff, so you get to sort of know them online, but it's really nice to put it. So please, if any of our patrons or any of even just listeners are at any of the race and all of us out, whatever, please do come and introduce yourselves. But I just wanted to say special thanks to everyone.
Please follow me on my social media accounts. I have literally no followers.
Yeah, go on, give your social media accounts a plug. Is it not Brad's Perie?
I think Instagram's a weird one because my dad set it up when I was younger. It was like Brad's number 97. Instagram Brad Perie 97. That's pretty much it, really. I don't think I know Snapchat anytime soon. Now we'll be like, I don't know. Unless, like, say, I don't know what your viewers are like. Sort of, you might be like, never mind. We'll just skip past that. Won't we?
We'll do it for you. I'll put the tags in.
And also, I just wanted to say, quick, we're on 490 ratings on Apple Podcasts. It would be really nice to get to the 500.
Only
So if you haven't left a review, we would really, really appreciate you.
If anything's going to get the reviews in,
it's you.
It's got to be this one, hasn't it?
It's 100%. Only 5 stars. Only 5 stars.
Do you never get that little lad back on the podcast?
Wait, shut up, man. Everyone will love you having it back on. But seriously, I need to go to work. So this has been absolutely. I am shattered, but not.
I don't think you being shattered makes any difference because, like, I bet you have like 3 hours sleep and wake up and go, "Wait, man, good morning, lads." And
like, you got it, haven't you? It's called having a job, mate.
I wake up like, all right. Don't talk to me before 10, please. I'm not.
Sounds familiar. This is why you're both championship contenders, because you like having a lie in. There you go. But hey, all seriousness, no, thank you so much for meeting up with us, doing the show, and good luck with the season.
Good luck at Scarborough.
Thank you very much, mate.
Big thanks to our patrons and our sponsor, Colchester Kawasaki, and really looking forward. We'll get a podcast sorted at Scarborough. I'll leave that for you to get sorted. And
I sorted this one.
Well, you've got another one to sort.
Fuck, I'm busy racing. Fuck up. No.
Well, you know everyone there, so
no, I don't. No, I don't.
You'll find someone. We'll find someone interesting in.
Get a Marshall. That'd be pretty cool.
It would be good.
Marshall's perspective of racing.
No, definitely. We'll get Andy Hayes on there. Job done. Ring him up. He likes you. He doesn't like me. So there you go.
Lovely. But thanks everyone, and like I said, I'll second that. Best of luck this year, and take care, everyone.
You too.
Cheers,
mate. See you in a bit.
Click, buy, deliver with remote purchasing from the 2-time Motorcycle News Dealer of the Year, Colchester Kawasaki. Proud sponsors of Chasin the Racin.